now 1-3, and they got a massive amount of injuries and everything else in between there. But if nationally people were going to put up against the Ravens, if they're going to gush what Jared Goff did, if these games are going to matter and they're going to matter for other quarterbacks, well, then they got to matter for Patrick Mahomes. They got to matter for him too. And we got to talk about it that same way, and we got to give it that same amount of credence because, again, that was their most complete performance in 2 years. Like, even more so for me than the Bears, because the Bears ones had the haphazard, things going wrong part of it. Like the Chiefs didn't return kicks for touchdowns. They weren't blocking everything. They just played incredibly hard-nosed defense, created pressure through blitzes, kept Lamar Jackson, who was playing once again at an MVP level, off his game completely from the jump, and then dominated offensively. So, like, it was just a complete effort. That's what really stood out to me. It felt like a full game of just dominance.
It was that, and also, how entertaining was that? That's the difference, too. You know, it's, as we say, just find a way to win, but it was those two games that we've referenced, either the Christmas Day game last year or the Bears game. When you watch them, the offense was fun and exciting to watch. That's what people have gotten used
passes,
to. Yeah, that's what people have gotten used to in Kansas City during this dynasty run that they've been in. That when it was really, really fun, not only just winning football games, but it's when the offense looked like they could break off an explosive play at any time. When there was tons of creativity and speed on the field. And we're going to talk about Xavier Worthy specifically here in about 5 minutes, and we'll hear from him from after the game. But when Brashard Smith's on the field and Worthy's on the field, you can see how everything just opens up offensively. And then with that, Mahomes was playing with, I think, renewed confidence because he trusts the offensive line. And frankly, you trust the play calling more when things are in a rhythm and in flow, and you're not shaking your head, frustrated playing throughout the game and trying to do too much. The only time that happened at the beginning of the game was, and Mahomes referenced it in his postgame comments, was they had a couple guys open on the opening drive, and I think that the pass was batted down. He was trying to get the ball. I think it was to Juju, and that got batted down. Otherwise, the play was there.
He was open. Yeah.
So as much as, understandably so, the play calling's been criticized, and again, when things go well, Andy's the genius. When they go bad, Matt Nagy's the idiot. That's how, for whatever reason, everybody treats this thing. That plan was awesome yesterday. When you have the tools to run an effective offense, they can execute. They can call a pretty good game, it turns out again. They didn't forget how the hell to call a football game. It's just that their hands were tied behind their back a little bit when you're out there relying on an older Travis Kelce and just, third and fourth receivers. Worthy being on the field changed everything for the offense.
Yeah, it really did. The second, and look, I'll admit, I'll wait before I'm like, offense fixed. And I'm not saying you're saying that. Problem solved. No problems anymore. Nothing to see here, because the Ravens defense is admittedly horrid.
Yep.
Horrid. They're one of the worst, if not the worst defense in the entire NFL.
But they did what you're supposed to do.
Correct.
A fully functional offense is supposed to dominate that way.
They're not for dominating a bad defense. But I am going to have to see them function that way and operate that way against a better defense before I'm like back into and I told you, I think they can be a top 5 offense with Worthy and Rice, but it was going to take time to see that. But I mean, there's no doubt that it made a significant difference. He had 120 plus yards off 7 touches. He averaged like 15 yards a touch in that game. He also has the single longest run for the team.
He did.
On the year now. In addition to and by the way, Mahomes missed him. You don't hit every deep pass. Those are lower probability. He had him open deep more than the times he hit him. So like Worthy was having zero trouble getting open. Marlon Humphrey gave up the most yards per pass in the NFL over the weekend. It was just nice to see it. And Worthy is a huge part of why I thought it just made everything smoother. It made the running backs look better. It made Kelce look better. It made Mahomes look better, and the offensive line look better. Turns out having an explosive player somehow makes the offense look more explosive.
Yeah, and so there's always more nuance required for the conversation. You acknowledge there too, the injuries to Baltimore. And I think, though, there's a renewed excitement of what this offense can be. You had to at least see them be fully functional for a game and look explosive again. And they just did that. And knowing that at some point, you're still getting Rashee Rice back. That's why I get what you're saying, where you're like, hey, I got to see it for a couple more weeks. And I get
I'd
that.
like to just
the reason why I believe like the offense is back to the certain extent of like they're going to be one of the better offenses. I'm not saying that like now I think they're going to start averaging 30 points a game. That's not what I'm saying. But knowing that they did that without Rashee Rice against a defense that has struggled, what happens when, yes, they play a better defense, but also what happens when that opponent is going to have to deal with Rice and Worthy on the field at the same time, let alone if they're fortunate enough to have Brown and Thornton on the field. That's the thing about Worthy's day. You're right about the 100 yards of scrimmage, over 100 yards from scrimmage. But Worthy, Kelce, and Mahomes did not score touchdowns. Mahomes didn't run one in, is what I mean. They didn't have touchdowns. They spread it around. Pacheco obviously had the touchdown. Juju's getting in the end zone. Hollywood Brown's getting in on the end zone. Tyquan Thornton's getting in on the end zone. Like that to me was what made the win more impressive. That everybody got involved, and it wasn't while Worthy's impact was massive. It wasn't like he had 3 touchdowns. You're like, okay, well that's not sustainable. No, it opened things up for Juju and everybody else. Here's what Xavier Worthy had to say on getting back out there and obviously where his health was at going into the game.
Once I got tackled the first time, I was good. Just needed to test it out. Now, I'm glad it was just happened on the first play so I could get it going. I didn't have to play scared. When I got hurt, I was trying to get back in immediately, but I just couldn't lift my arm. But when I got hurt and then when I got back to KC, I was trying to get back in as fast as possible. The coaches, they know how I am as a player. They probably held me back for myself more than anything. I was trying to get back out there at the same time. So, I never had no worry about me coming back.
That last part aligns with what you'd been hearing for the last week or two. That
he wanted to be
He
back.
wanted to play in not just the Giants game, but that when he all of a sudden was limited in practice that Friday before the Eagles game. He thought he was good to go there. Obviously, it ends up working out. They get the win against the Giants. They now get the win against the Ravens, and he looked good to go. I think the
Full
fact
use.
Immediately, first play from scrimmage, they got him the football, and he acknowledged it. Get the first hit out of the way, and then you're just playing football. And he did a good job, too. I think there were a couple plays that was pretty evident. He did kind of slide down a little bit just to protect himself. But that's fine. He should do that. There's no reason to try. Because a guy of his size also, you're not going to break many tackles anyway, dude. That's not his game. It's all about speed.
Make a miss.
And make a miss. You're not going to run through a guy anyway, so why even jeopardize the shoulder whatsoever?
I guess a lot of it for Worthy, and this is where it makes a big difference for them, this is still, and this is what we probably don't mention, this is still a far more complete offense than at any point that they had Worthy last year.
Yeah.
Because Hollywood is available and has been playing football. Tyquan Thornton is better than any option they had at the back end of the white. And I know he only caught the one pass since Worthy, Kelce, and Brown did what we would expect out of them, and even Juju did what we expect out of them. They were far more balanced than I've seen them. And look, I'm curious to see how they roll Rice back into this and what the balance of wide receivers look like. But they're going to be really difficult to guard. Really, really difficult to guard because of all the reasons we just mentioned. And the deep passing game being back is a huge part of it. And look, there's certainly still some problems in the running game. I'm not denying that.
That's still the biggest issue with the offense, yeah.
But a huge part of, and I know one of them was because he kept jumping behind the line. I barely remember Mahomes running at all. And I know he ran 2 or 3 times, and they were all
4
good for a
times
yard.
for 5 yards.
Although this is a really small. I don't think Andy should be allowed legally. I think it should be finable. I don't think he should be allowed to be running option plays inside the 5-yard line and not run a QB sneak, but that's fine. He's got Mahomes running for
that was bizarre. That was bizarre.
A weird play call.
That was bizarre.
Such a weird play call. I'm going to let that one go because they scored a bunch of points. I don't want to get bogged down on that part. But he made a huge difference. I think a lot of this is they haven't been explosive for a long time, but they also have not had players who can get down the field and make massive plays in a long time. Thornton is now that. Worthy is that. And you see what difference it makes in their ability to score every single day. I'm not just offensive problems are solved. Because, again, the Ravens' defense is awful. But it was reassuring to know that they could. You and I going into the game, we're like, hope it's a game in the 20s. Who said, who was it? Was it Friday? Who was talking about they thought that a shootout would not be the worst thing for the Chiefs to get into?
It was Danon, yeah.
And I was like, I don't know if I want the Chiefs having to score 30. They could have scored 45, 50 in that game if they had to. They just put on the brakes. Once the third quarter hit, and they didn't need to put any more points.
Yeah, Mahomes wasn't even out there when the kneel downs was happening. If you would,
we got Gardner Minshew time.
Gardner Minshew, and I would say I would have thought he was going to be on the drive earlier. I actually, there were some people.
Yeah, why was he in there when it was 37-20 and Lamar was out?
It was pretty surprising, but
37-13.
One of those wins that gets. As you can imagine, the locker room was as happy as it's been all season long, and you could tell that the vibes were pretty good. Not only in the locker room, but obviously from Kansas City Chiefs fans, as they should be in the text line. I think for the most part is pretty reasoned with their response, right? I think everybody is acknowledging kind of what we're saying, which is, hey, this is what was needed to see. Also knowing the opponent, also knowing the issues. My only thing is I don't want to move the goalposts, though, either. At the same time, while we can acknowledge the Ravens defense, was banged up and got even more banged up during the game. It was kind of crazy how they ended up, by the end of the game, 7 starters were out, but the Chiefs were already up considerably by that point in time, but still they kept suffering injuries. We can acknowledge that while also not moving the goalpost and now saying, well, now they got to do it against this team. Like at first it was like, I got to see anything from them. And then now all week people are picking the Ravens to win and saying they were just a better team. Now we're saying, well, the Ravens aren't that good. So which one is it? Like, that's my only problem with their performance. Like, we don't need to move the goalpost too much on what the Chiefs did on Sunday against the Baltimore Ravens.
I just think if we're doing that, then we need to dismiss that the Lions, because like coming out of that game, I remember the story. Gold, we came in on that Monday. We're like, maybe the early demise of the Lions offense was a little too exaggerated. Yeah. That's what people were saying coming out of that game. So, like, if that was your feeling about the Lions offense, and by the way, the Lions have continued to score. It's not like they stopped scoring.
Their
after
offense
that
is fully
game.
back. Yep.
If that was your feeling about the Lions offense coming out of that game, that should be your feeling about the Chiefs offense. I get it. The Ravens have the worst defense in the NFL. Honestly, I can't believe they only gave up 17 points to the Browns. It's shocking, honestly, at that point. And they're going to be able to score on a lot of teams, and their schedule ideally will lighten up for them at some point because going back-to-back Lions, Chiefs isn't exactly going to help you out. And Bills in the first 3 games, that's a lot of tough opponents. But no, I don't think you want, like, again, I'm not dismissing it, and I'm not saying prove it to me as in, like, in the sense that just they're going to be the level of offense that they look like there. Not that they can be a good offense, not that they can be a lot better than the mediocre version and the bad offense of the first half we saw a week ago. It's not that. One game isn't enough a sample size to just be like, you're elite, we're all elite, but they're definitely a lot better.
No, they show that they can be fully functional with this group, and then the hope is when Rashee Rice comes back, they can pivot to being one of the better offenses. That's where now that they're at least in position to do that now, if they can somehow improve the running game at all. That's the only way they can get to being at that top tier level. They have to have a better running game to complement everything that's going on. But now if you're wondering, can their offense keep up with somebody? Can their offense do enough? And all that, to me, they answered that question, even if it was against a Baltimore Ravens opponent.
I just wonder whether or not, and I wonder, I can't wait to see the balance they strike when Rice comes back. Because look at this game. Worthy got the most touches by far, and then it was really balanced between Travis, Kelce, Juju in this game. I'd say that the Juju, Tyquan, Thornton, Hollywood, I think it'll just be like, whose day is it? I don't know if you view it that way. I think those 3 guys will be like, whose day is it to be the 4th leading wide receiver on this team? And that guy might have 3 or 4 catches that day, but it's going to vary depending on the man, depending on the scheme, depending on the matchups and everything else in between it. And it's not going to be just one thing. It will be that. I will say the one biggest sign about the offense being like, to your point, if the offense is going to look like, not this, but look amazing the rest of the year, be a top 10, top 5 offense the rest of the year. Offensive lines historically take a while to come together. It was a brand new left tackle, brand new left guard. And so you were going through some offensive changes on the offensive line. That was their best performance by a mile. The fact that Juwan Taylor didn't have any problems, the fact that Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey dominated, that I don't once notice that Josh Simmons was on the field. To me, that's a great sign. When you just don't even notice him. Kingsley, by the way, for the first time in his NFL career, do you know how many pressures he allowed? None. 0. He allowed
they got
left guard.
They got thrown into the fire in week 1 against the Chargers front, thrown into the fire against an Eagles front in week 2. Pretty damn good front with the Giants in week 3, and then they played a depleted Ravens front in week 4. So a reminder of like, hey, the first 3 weeks, not only were they trying to get the group together, but they were playing some of the better defensive fronts. Now everything balances out a little bit, and you can see they can be very effective. I think all around we're kind of on the same page with this team. Coming up in 12 minutes, we will talk about the defense. We haven't focused in on them yet. That is one unit that I'm willing to say is elite.
Oh, we're good on that.
We'll get into that. I don't think we need to have any extra conversation about the opponents they've played for that. To me, this defense has shown now post-Chargers game that they are one of the better units in the National Football League. Before we get into the defense a little bit, couple news notes from the NFL just coming out in the last, 10 minutes or so. We obviously just want to acknowledge them. The Browns are trading for Texans tackle Cam Robinson for a swap of late-round picks. So another offensive lineman the Texans are trading away.
Texans want to give away more offensive linemen?
Should feel
I don't know.
They can't block already.
The Texans got their first win, much needed, dominant win over the Titans to get to 1-3. Their O-line's a mess, and yet, they trade away Cam Robinson, so that's kind of interesting. And then Adam Schefter also reporting that, as expected, an MRI confirmed that standout wide receiver Malik Neighbors of the Giants did indeed suffer a season-ending torn ACL during Sunday's game. So that's a bummer to see. That's awful. And Jackson Dart, obviously, we're going to talk about that win that they had against the Chargers, which is big for the Chiefs. But
Thanks, Giants.
Malik Neighbors, that sucks.
That's awful, honestly. And you could tell, like, and that's one of those, thankfully, like, for whatever reason, that game maybe just didn't hit the red zone at the time. I was whatever. And so I didn't see it. I didn't see the injury, thankfully. But it's immediately people are like, yep, we've seen that one. And so you just feel really bad. And especially because young quarterback, chance to like get something going the rest of the year.
Who's their top receiver now? Wan'Dale Robinson?
Yeah. I mean, I mean, if I were the Giants, just to protect Jackson Dart a little bit, I'd be in the market with the bad teams. Even though it's like, why are you adding people? If they've got control, we talked about this like with if you got control, maybe they could be around for more than just 1 year. I'd be somewhat interested in trying to find him another target. I don't want to put him in that spot. He's going to start and supposed to have Malik Neighbors. And then Malik Neighbors immediately goes down with a season-long injury. And that's the kind of one that will last into early next year, probably most likely as well. And so just kind of a devastating injury. You feel bad for a player like Malik Neighbors. He's obviously explosive when he plays.
Sure.
Great player. And yeah, outside of that, that was a pretty devastating injury. And no team
happened
suffered
fairly early in the game too. I mean, they still came. They were able. They controlled that entire game against the Chargers, and we'll talk more about the Chargers charging a little bit. There was news late last night during Sunday Night Football, and hopefully this actually matters or doesn't, meaning you're not watching the halftime show if you're stressing out about the Chiefs if they actually get back to the Super Bowl again. Bad Bunny, what do you guys make of this? Bad Bunny is the Super Bowl halftime performer in Santa Clara, coming up later on in February.
Un día conmigo es lo que tú necesitas. Sonriendo tú te ves más bonita. Baby, te voy a dar una vuelta por la playita. Te voy a llenar de besitos la cara.
Honestly,
Where are we at on Bad Bunny performing at the Super Bowl?
this goes back to what Drew had said maybe a couple of weeks ago. No one is too big for the Super Bowl. Bad Bunny has the most streamed album in music history. He has one of the most downloaded albums. I think it's the second most downloaded album in music history. He is an insanely popular artist worldwide. So even if you are like, wait, I don't listen to a lot of Bad Bunny, he's one of the 5 probably most popular artists on the planet. So I'm not surprised that he's the person doing the Super Bowl halftime show. This tracks, I guess. Not regrettably, I didn't go dive into the depths to see if people hated this. Do people hate this? Or do people like this?
There's a lot of mixed reviews about it, actually.
I think there's some people that have been complaining for a while. Some people have wanted a country artist, and so they've been saying that for years. They haven't got their country artist.
It's not as universally appealing.
It's a worldwide audience. I think there's some of that. There's other components to it, I think, that have irritated some people as well. It's fun. Like the halftime show, I think in general gets way overblown to begin with. Like it's fun. If your team's in the Super Bowl, I don't care about the halftime show. To me, you're stressing out about your team, or you're mad that your team's getting their ass kicked in the Super Bowl in the first half this past year. So to me, the halftime show matters more if your team's not in it, when you're like casually watching the game. Otherwise, to me, I speak out of my personal opinion, I'm way more stressed watching the game if my team's in it, so I don't care about the halftime show.
Sure, but that's been a recent phenomenon. You didn't used to care about the halftime show. Yeah. And I think most casual viewers, there's a lot of casual viewers of the Super Bowl.
I think he'll probably crush it because they're going to spend months and months. The production value is going to be insane, I'm sure, and I'm sure it'll be great.
Have you seen some of the stuff he does?
Somebody says that they don't know who he is. Yes, you do. Yes,
you know what? Actually,
you've seen him in commercials. You have seen him before.
He was the caddy in the most recent Happy Gilmore movie. He's everywhere.
Yeah, him and Kelce were both acting together.
From the 816, if you're a wrestling fan, there was a massive. It got a bunch of appeal because if you watched, he had a massive WrestleMania intro in Puerto Rico.
You've definitely seen him before.
You've definitely. You might not recognize the artist or the songs, but you definitely recognize the person.
We had Isaiah Pacheco on the show during training camp, and we asked him about going to a Bad Bunny concert.
Yes, it was a beautiful experience with the fam down there, and also we got invited to attend the Bad Bunny concert from Bad Bunny and his team, and so it was a great experience. And not only that, we did the jersey swap in his locker room before his big game day, so that was right there for him squeezing me in there and getting a little session in. It was phenomenal.
Some people think that it's the NFL being kind of like with the international stuff, with the international games. They're more fixated on the global audience, somebody argues.
I definitely think that that's at play. They're not wrong there. If your argument is the NFL cares more about the global audience than the United States audience right now, I don't actually think that's a well-kept secret. They already have you.
Yeah.
Football is the #1 sport in this country by a mile. It's not even close. They've already won you over. They're not trying to win the United States audience of NFL football. They got you. So yeah, they are more focused on the international audience, and Bad Bunny fits that mold, I guess, if it will. Yeah, and most Super Bowl halftime shows are pretty good. It's very rare that I'm like, that completely stunk. So like most Super Bowl halftime shows are pretty good, and he puts on a pretty good, like it's a big production, his shows. So I would assume that this one would also be a pretty big production, that's all. Someone says, thoughts on no English? I don't care.
I have seen a lot of that. They've had Latin.
I think that's part of the deal as well.
That is why there's some people upset, because they're not going to understand what he's saying during the whole
people who don't
halftime
listen
show.
to his music aren't. Yeah,
so I actually understand that. Now I would say they've had Latin artists perform at halftime before. Now, not
Shakira,
entirely,
yeah.
like Shakira and J-Lo.
Yeah.
Now, they also sing some songs, or J-Lo sings songs, obviously, in English as
and
well.
also,
but
like the song that you just played, like the sample, it's a vibe. You know, it's a vibe. Like it's something you can get up to, and it doesn't matter the words.
Are you listening to that when you're jogging?
I've
in
never
your tank
listened to
top
Bad Bunny before, but I know that he's big time. So I don't listen to Bad Bunny when I go on a run.
I've tried to get into it because I know how popular an artist he is. It hasn't hit with me yet.
Yeah,
like personally,
it's fine.
I know
it's
that
not
he's
what
really good at what he does, and you respect that, but he's just not for me.
For the same as a lot of other artists I've tried to get into, and you're like, I mean, I like sometimes you get the like it hits for you, and sometimes it doesn't. But I also think it'll be good. And like I literally everybody in the text line, it's a mixed bag.
Yeah,
that's
never
heard of the guy.
You're never gonna make everybody happy. They could have picked, Adele, and people have been mad and said it would be boring. They could have picked the most popular country
Someone
artist
said
right now.
Metallica. I will say I don't want anything pre 1995. I'm good.
Yeah, I just think there's no way when you make these announcements that you're not going to tick some people off. That's just the reality of choosing a halftime show. By the way, Monday's football coverage is presented by Busey Bank, where they're focused on your success. At Busey Bank, they've been building business and growing wealth since 1868. Learn more at buseybank.com. Up next, let's talk about this defense, which proved to us once again what they are. That's coming up on Cody and Gold.
This is Wyatt Thompson, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
For nearly 100 years, Busey Wealth Management has helped families and businesses make smart financial decisions that stand the test of time. From personalized investment plans to tax strategies that work for you, we take a big picture approach, connecting you with the right experts to help protect what you've built and plan for what's next. Busey Wealth Management, here for every chapter of your financial story.
Prostate cancer. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed in their lifetime, but early detection can save lives. That's where KCUC comes in. They're the premier center for urology and oncology, with over 50 elite providers and more than 20 locations across the metro. KCUC makes it easy to get screened fast in the comfort of an office, not a hospital. Schedule your screening today at kcuc.com. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. kcuc.com. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
The FanDuel Sportsbook app is your home for all your favorite NFL bets. From yards to touchdowns to who will win, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. And when the Jets and Dolphins and the Bengals and Broncos play tonight, FanDuel is giving all customers a 50% PBT or 30% PBT tokens. That's right, you can get on the action with a 50% profit boost token or 30% profit boost tokens this Monday night. So make FanDuel your go-to app for any snap. Just visit FanDuel.com/Alex to bet the Jets versus the Dolphins and the Bengals versus the Broncos with a 50% profit boost token or 30% PBTs. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL and 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issues non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Hey, Mr. C, it's me. Well, I just picked up the ring. I actually went to Hellsberg. Thanks for that recommendation. Kate's gonna love that hers is from the same jeweler you got Mrs. C's ring from. They were so helpful throughout the whole process. They even knew your family by name, and the ring looks great. Anyways, I just couldn't wait to let you guys know. Call me back and wish me luck.
Hellsberg, designed with care and craft since 1915. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
You don't need to be a financial MVP right out of the gate. At Main Street Credit Union, we're here to coach you through it. No matter where you're at, lining up for your first play or deep in the game, we'll help you move the ball forward. From building credit to launching a business. Because here, it's not just about money, it's about progress and having a team that's got your back. Learn more at mainstreetcu.org.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6812. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6812. That's 800-575-6812. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Sports fans, listen up. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening. Because health is a long game, and it's yours to win. Now here's the cool part. Through November, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 25 cents for every purchase of Depend shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi. Learn more at Depend.com.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Getting the job done right the first time protects your home, time, and budget. This summer, get $500 off a water softener and filtration combo. Schedule at AnthonyPHCE.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Quick snap by Jackson. Stays up in the pocket. Now he's going to scramble. Flag on the play. Ball comes out. He's hit from behind. Jackson's hit from behind. And the Chiefs say they've got the football. Kansas City's got that football.
Offense number 77.
Drew Tranquil with the fumble recovery. That's a steal. That's a stop. That's a stop. That's a steal. And the Chiefs up 20-7 have the ball again in Raven territory.
Mitch Holthus on the call yesterday right here on your home for the Chiefs. 96.5 The Fan. Drew Tranquil, one of the many of the key defensive playmakers yesterday. Of course, Leo Chanel, who we're going to hear from in a second, had an unbelievable interception off of Lamar Jackson. It was one of the more impressive ones you'll see, especially from a linebacker in coverage like Leo was. I want to get to him in just a second. But this defense as a whole, there's no doubt post-Chargers game, they've been one of the better defensive units in football. I'm not saying they're the best defense in football, but to me, there should not be a question that under Steve Spagnolo and with this group that, let's remember, still has some young pieces in the secondary that I think has already shown some signs of improvement, to say the least, they're going to be one of the better defensive units yet again. I know we were all worried, and I was after week one, like, oh my goodness, this unit, is this going to be able to come around quick enough to help this team win football games? And all they've done has been one of the biggest strengths of this football team since the Chargers game. And some of the numbers behind are kind of crazy. You know, we mentioned they got to start forcing turnovers and all that. Well, that's exactly what they've been able to do the last couple of games. They've been forcing turnovers. Obviously, they held the Ravens to 20 points, knocked Lamar Jackson out of the game. He looked so uncomfortable when he was out there, to say the least. We all know what they did the week before to Russell Wilson. Say what you will about his performance. Jalen Hurts was held to 100 yards. This defense, I'm not really worried about the defense. I'm not saying they're going to be a top 3 defensive unit in the league, but Steve Spagnolo continues to be the best in-game adjustment coach in the NFL, period, on the defensive side of the ball. First drive of the game when it's scripted, Baltimore carved right through them easily. You're like, oh boy.
And he's like, okay.
How many times have we had that conversation, though, since we've been doing the show about Spagnolo? And, hey, they'll get you in the first half or for the first quarter, the first drive. In this case, it was one drive. But in-game adjustments, he's the best at it. He really is. And this defense is a massive, massive strength for this football team. And it's why they're going to be still one of the better teams, I think, when the dust settles and this offense really gets going consistently for people obviously wanting to see more. I get it. But the defense, I don't need to see more from the defense. I would like to see more pressure from the front four. But in terms of, do I buy into them being one of the best units in football? Yeah, I think they're going to be a top 10 defense fairly easily again when the season ends.
If they had a slightly better pass rush, I'd be ready to tell you that this is the best defense in the NFL. Not one of the, not like without qualification, the best. Baltimore was coming into that game scoring 37 points a game and held them to 20. And one of those was a garbage time Justice Hill run when the game was completely out of hand, and it didn't matter. And it's not like they've been taking on a bunch of weak offenses outside of that. You might have been bored with the Eagles. They have the 7th best offense in the NFL right now. A team did not run all over them. They will face Detroit and Buffalo, the number 1 and 2 ranked offenses in the NFL right now, coming up pretty soon. And the Chargers, in the games that they're scoring, if you forgot the Chiefs game, they'd be a top 10 offense in the NFL. They are one of the top 5 defenses in the NFL, and largely based, it seems, on scheme and secondary, which is an interesting way to build a defense, admittedly, as a top 5 defense. Typically, typically they build it on the defensive line, and I would say that's not this team's strength. They play great defensive back defense. They, like Trent McDuffie, Jalen Watson, the corners, they blitzed Nick Bolton 10 times in that game, according to Next Gen Stats. He created 5 pressures. He was free rusher. Half of the time he was going after the quarterback. So scheme and secondary seems to be the entire basis of a top 5 defense, but it's working.
Yeah,
and there's no reason to think it'll change.
Over the last 8 quarters or so, 4 takeaways, 5 sacks, only given up, I think if you include the Justice Hill one, I think 3 touchdowns or something like that over the last 8 quarters, 4 touchdowns over the last 8 quarters, something like that. So, yeah, they've got something figured out. I think it was Sam McDowell who was in the locker room, and he was in the corner. He was talking to Nick Bolton, and then I saw the story out this morning, clearly what he was asking Nick Bolton about as well. What was impressive about Spags is they ran a certain scheme in one point of the game that they had not run ever under Spags, I think it is. As
he said, 7 years is when it
yeah, essentially, it's happened one other time. That's the kind of stuff that makes him so good. If you're the Ravens, you had no reason to believe that was coming. Yeah, you don't think they don't run that. They don't do that. You don't have to worry about that. And yet he goes in his back pocket and pulls that out, and it ends up being a massive play for Kansas City. That's the genius that is Steve Spagnolo, and I think you got some guys in the secondary building some confidence. Jalen Watson, to me, should be getting a little more attention as well, how well he has played. We know what Trent McDuffie is going to be. He's a stud, but Jalen Watson's been awesome. When he's healthy, he's a pretty damn good player.
And they made some changes, which I think we'll talk about later in the week. Like, Gelati played as much as Charles Omenihu, and Dan has been hurt. Like, it's not even like they've been at full capacity. They signed Christian Fulton with the hope that was going to strengthen their defensive backfield. Instead, they got Roland Wallace out breaking up picks and doing stuff. I mean, they're getting contributions from everyone. Look, I'll be honest. I think they've got a lot of talent on defense. Spags is why I think. If you made me switch defensive coordinators right now, I don't think they're a top 5 defense.
No, that's what I'm saying. This is a Steve Spagnolo conversation. Yeah.
Like, it's not to say that they deserve no credit or have zero ability. That is not the argument I'm making. But the reason why they're elite is because what they're able to do defensively. Another player that we could talk about more in depth individually, Leo Chenal is developing into a Swiss Army knife. Yeah. He's doing pass rush snaps from the edge. He's out here in coverage making picks. Like, I mean, I get it. We knew he was a good athlete, Gold, probably when he climbed up that double-decker bus in the Super Bowl parade with ease.
Yeah.
But, like, he is kind of like a do-everything guy right now. But it feels like they got a lot of do-everything guys on the defense. They're just they
athletes.
move.
Yeah, I mean, like plain and simple athletes and athleticism off the charts. You mentioned the parade thing. Remember when they drafted him? I'll give Bing credit for this. As much as we give him a hard time about the Josh Simmons stuff, he was right on Chenal. When they drafted him, he had mentioned quite a bit about the athleticism scores and just how this guy is going to be a freak and be able to play in all these different spots. And we're starting to see it more and more. Last year, it started with the block punt or the block kick or whatever. And you're like, wow, here's the athleticism on display. And now you're seeing him delve into multiple roles. I think you're right on not only as a pass rusher as well, but that interception, I mean, that's elite stuff as a linebacker.
One-handed back in coverage.
Here's what Chenal said in the locker room on that pick.
I was just doing the best to key his eyes. I honestly kind of struggle with that, in the past in college and stuff. And I was kind of always a run-stopping linebacker. So, over the years and especially this year, just trying to work my eyes in coverage. Learning from these guys that are a little better than me in coverage. So it's definitely been a blessing.
Just flat out has improved in that particular area, and that if the one complaint has been about the linebacking unit has been, hey, there's some guys that get exposed in coverage, and now if Leo's able to, because by the way, if you're Lamar Jackson, you're not expecting that that kind of play. Like you're thinking, oh, we got a great mismatch here, we got a linebacker on our guy, and Leo made him pay. I mean, it looked like Leo was the wide receiver on that route. I mean, he ran the route as well. That's what was so impressive about it. Not just the fact that it was a one-handed INT, but if you're Lamar, you'll take that matchup and that shot every single time. It was just a great defensive play. And it helps when things maybe are clicking and you're also playing with a little bit of a lead. This was also what Leo had to say.
It's definitely motivating and energizing when everything's clicking. Offense, special teams, defense, all those, and guys running off the field, yelling, every single all 3 phases just yelling and get each other going. It's like nobody's dead, everybody's just energized. So it definitely does feel good, especially at home.
I was going to get out there and play with a big lead. Had a lot of close games, but now this one kind of got away from them, and you guys were able to coast in.
It feels good, but at the same time, we just treat it hey, reminding each other 0-0. Just do our jobs. That's how you get yourself in trouble is feeling too good about yourself. So I think a lot of our guys took a great approach at just doing their job and executing, and a lot of us guys take pride in it. We want to finish out the game strong, not just win.
I think one thing that stands out about what he was doing and what they were doing on defense is, I don't know if it's just, I used to think it was because Patrick Mahomes was so great and they just felt like they couldn't stick with it. But Mahomes has been not regular Mahomes for some time, right? So you don't feel this or shouldn't have felt this instant pressure or constant pressure to be the way. They are better at convincing teams to try to be something they're not in the middle of a game than anyone else. Once again, we're coming into a Monday where how many times did they give it to Derrick Henry? 9, 8 times?
Yeah, they had 46 yards rushing or 50 yards rushing.
Justice Hill was once on the field on 3rd and 1. They could. How did you convince them based on lineup in the game that Justice Hill should be on 3rd and 1 against what was going into the game the worst defense in base defense in the NFL, as in against the run? So they were supposed to be bad in those situations, and they just convinced these teams, I think, through looks and confusion, and they get in their own head, and then they decide to do something different, because the Ravens have now entered a game against the Chiefs in which they have gotten out of what makes them a good offensive football team every time they face him. I don't know if Harbaugh's in his own head. I don't know if Lamar checks out, but they just don't have any answer for what the Chiefs do defensively.
Bigger picture for Baltimore. Let's talk about them, and then we'll get right back into the running game. Also, Brashard Smith got more snaps. I know we were all excited to see that, and you saw some more of what he can bring to the table. We'll discuss the offense again here at 11 o'clock, and welcome your guys' interaction as well on the Jay Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. By the way, I've seen a few texts just to address it again. We are aware that there's issues with the Odyssey app. It's a company-wide national issue. They're working on it, so hopefully the app works. Remember, you can watch the show, though, on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, X, wherever. And, of course, you can listen on the radio on 96.5 FM.
So if you can't get it over on the app, come join us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe. It's at the top of your feed.
But bigger picture with the Ravens, I mean, Lamar, we're going to find out about the hamstring fully today. Maybe it turns out to be way more serious. I hope it's not for their sake and for his sake. But Lamar Jackson, a couple things with his performance. One, I think he was extremely flustered throughout that game. That's a credit to the defense, but also going back to the week before when you were sacked 7 times. This is an ongoing issue for Baltimore now. You're talking about the rate at which he's getting sacked. A lot of that's the offensive line, but a lot of that is he seems just not very comfortable back there. Now you're telling me he's going to maybe be dealing with a hamstring injury. Bigger picture for Baltimore, I mean, they're 1-3. We all know that. You got the Steelers atop the division. Cincinnati plays tonight. They got a backup quarterback, but they play the Broncos tonight. Cleveland's Cleveland, right? So it's right now, the Steelers division looks pretty good for them, their path. At this point in time, Baltimore is not getting any reinforcements. Nope. That's why I think if you're a Baltimore fan, you listen to Harbaugh talking after the game, it seems like they recognize they're very concerned about where they're at. That was before Lamar. We'll find out. Hopefully it's not serious, as I said. The hamstring strain, he looked like someone just frustrated and he kind of threw in the towel a little bit late in that game.
It certainly looked like, and there was like 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. That's what's crazy. Like your team just blew a game in week 1. It's not like there's not enough time for you to score. You're the high-flying Ravens offense. So I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe it's a serious injury enough that was going to keep him out of the game and that he'll have a difficult time practicing this week. So I'll wait on although it did admittedly on the broadcast look like a guy who just quit on the game. It did. Whether that was what really happened or not, that we can all agree that that's definitively what it looked like. The problem I had in this game is, for as much as we talk about the Burrow, Allen, Jackson, all this stuff outside of Mahomes, I am officially no longer thinking it's a matter of if for Lamar Jackson, which I did think for the other quarterbacks for a long time. This looks like a quarterback who's never going to win the big game. Every time he goes against Kansas City, he looks like the quarterback who's never going to win the big game. Every time he goes against the Bills, he looks like the quarterback who's never going to win the big game. And I don't know, it's now such a long history of it. It's becoming very difficult to ignore because he plays MVP. He's got 2 MVPs. Looks like he should have won a third last year. He looks like the kind of player who can light it up against everybody until the lights are bright. Both teams are 1-2 and you're desperate and things have to happen. And then Mahomes pours it on you. And by the end of the game, you're not on the sideline. You're not even in the game by the time it finishes.
So I don't know if I'm with you on hey, it's just never going to happen for Lamar. What I will say, though, it's a reminder that windows typically don't stay open as long as they have right now for the Chiefs. And, obviously the Bills window is still open and all that. The question, I think, more is bigger picture with Baltimore, with Harbaugh and that roster and everything, is the years left for Lamar to get it done. How many of them are left? The Chiefs have obviously already accomplished 3 rings, and the window is still open, and who knows how many years they have left, but it's a wider margin in a larger window than any of these other teams. Buffalo's, I still think, is pretty open, but at some point in time, theirs will narrow. Baltimore, out of the grouping of teams between Baltimore, Buffalo, and Kansas City, their window is the shortest. And it's looking like it might, I think if we would ask before the season, you would have said their window's at least open for another 3 years based on the roster, based on the quarterback. Is there a chance that it's a little bit close to closing? I want to be careful not to slam the door shut because I still think if Lamar's not out for an extended period of time, to me, there will be still some games that remember they've lost. They've lost to Buffalo, they've lost to Kansas City and Detroit. So it's not like they've lost.
No, those are 3 of the better teams in the NFL.
So I don't think we should write off the Ravens yet in terms of making the playoffs and things like that. But I hear what you're saying. They look like a team though that the window organizationally might be closing in on them a little bit.
It's more bigger picture than even just this year, because in truth, the Ravens they're a Super Bowl or bust team. So, your record currently doesn't matter. You go to the Super Bowl and you win it, or this season is a waste. They're one of 5 or 6 teams, I would say, that is held to that standard going into the year and will be held to that standard throughout the year. So their season's not lost based on that. Versus, the teams that are we're just trying to, find our balance and be a competitive team for a couple years, the way we talked about the Royals or whatever. It's not like that. For them, it was just win the Super Bowl or nothing. And look, after all this, I'm pretty convinced the Steelers are going to win the division. Which is...
They still don't look that impressive, but they're winning games.
No, not at all.
But they're winning games. I mean, they've played Justin Fields and Carson Wentz so far this year.
Yeah, they're not beating anybody of importance. And it might end up being 10-7 that wins that division. That's why the Ravens are still decidedly not out of it there. It just looks like a team that even if they made it... Let's say they won their division. They rattled off some wins. I'd have no confidence that if they had to go against the Bills or the Chiefs in the playoffs, that they're ever winning that game. Lamar has shrunk specifically against those two opponents. Not against everybody. He dominates most of the league most of the time. But against those two opponents, he does not show up. I do not.
Yeah, but against Buffalo, in fairness, against Buffalo and the Lions,
it was his defense that.
Well, it was his defense and Derrick Henry fumbling the football. Lamar Jackson, actually, with the exception of this game we just saw, this is why I'm impressed by the Chiefs' defense. With the exception of this game, Lamar's played great all year. He really has.
9 touchdowns, 0 picks going into
so
the
people can bring up the injuries on the Ravens' defensive side. Offensively, this defense for the Chiefs, that was so impressive because Lamar has actually looked great with the exception of yesterday.
And if we go back to last year, they lost that playoff game because Mark Andrews couldn't catch a football.
Absolutely.
Otherwise they beat the Bills in Buffalo. So I think the narrative changes completely if some of those things happen.
But unfortunately, it's like he could have changed the narrative in 10 other games, Drew.
Well,
like,
yeah,
I'm not saying you're
that.
wrong, but like he could have changed the narrative in a dozen other times that he was facing.
And I'm not saying that his window. I'm not saying I don't agree with you guys, but I think there's things that are out of Lamar Jackson's hands that, similar to how things were out of Joe Burrow's hands last year. He did everything, and they still lost games. It feels that way for this Baltimore Ravens team. And also, when Lamar Jackson said Mahomes is his kryptonite, you introduce that every single time they play the Chiefs, Lamar Jackson will have that feeling in his head because he already vocalized it to you publicly. The fact that he said it publicly means that every single time he hears Patrick Mahomes' name probably, or he knows, oh, it's the Chiefs, he probably thinks back to that same thing where he's already lost half the battle because I think he legitimately thinks that he just isn't able to beat him for whatever reason. And I do think
he called him his kryptonite years ago.
I think
it's held up.
If that gets introduced every single time they play again, because as soon as you say that publicly, I feel like that doesn't go away.
It goes back to, you're right. I mean, this goes back a couple years. It happened in the playoffs a few years ago going into the game. Like, anytime people will ask you across the country, if Cody's doing a radio interview or me or wherever we're on these different shows, we have people on our show, and it's like they're like, hey, who do you fear? It's not Baltimore because of what we just said about the head-to-head stuff. Josh Allen obviously is a different conversation. He, of course, we all know hasn't beat Mahomes in the playoffs, and that'll continue to be a storyline until it ever happens. And at some point, I don't think Josh Allen's going to go 0 for 12 in the playoffs against Patrick Mahomes. Okay, like at some point he probably will win one of those. But the fact is, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens as a team, I think actually it's way more concerning for them in the window closing than it is just Lamar. I actually think Lamar's been fine. But that was discouraging if I was a Ravens fan to also just see, though. It looked like he just said, all right, we're not winning today. I'm a little banged up. I'm out.
Yeah.
And I'm checking out.
That's what it looked like.
And I'm checking out, and I'm not trying to get back in this game.
Did you guys stay up for the end of the Sunday Night Football game?
I did.
Little
ridiculous
40-40 tie, scoreagami.
Yeah, man. Look.
I saw you ask, do they need to fix it? Fix it? Those two teams did that to themselves.
Oh, the tie?
Packers were moving glacially. They could have sped things up to try to get in the damn end zone. They didn't look like they had a care in the world. They're going for a Sunday stroll. They look content to tie. I don't need to change. Ties are lame, no doubt. But still, that game was so weird. 40-40 as a tie.
Great game last night. The Cowboys, frankly, most people, including myself, thought they were going to get their ass kicked, and they didn't. And they were until the blocked extra point changed the entire game. It's crazy how something like that blocked extra point
and then
changed the entire game. Dak Prescott was awesome last night. Flat out awesome last night. Of course, George Pickens was great. They did that without CeeDee Lamb. It was really impressive. Yeah, what I was saying about the end of the game. So two things I would adjust. I think if they already adjusted the rule, which they did this year, to match the postseason, but they didn't totally do that. Two things either need to happen, unless you're just fine with ties, and that's fine, is instead of 10 minutes, it should be 15. But even if you're like, no, they don't need another 5. They had plenty of time in the 4 quarters before. Okay, I'll hear that, and I kind of agree. How come it's not the same as postseason all the way around? Remember in the Super Bowl 2 years ago, the Chiefs got the second possession, as we all know, against the 49ers, and everybody was freaking out because they were running the clock.
Postseason canon and a tie is the simple answer. But
they were running, the clock was going to run out. Everybody was panicking before they threw a touchdown to McCole Hardman to walk off to win with 15 seconds or 12 seconds. Last night, the Packers were way too casual, I agree, but it was up against the clock late, and that's why that third down was bizarre, and they should have spiked the ball. Jordan Love's very fortunate there was 1 second on the clock.
Yeah.
But that would be my only adjustment. Maybe you don't make it 15-minute overtime, Cody. And this happens twice a year. So in general, it's a conversation that doesn't matter that much.
I got to change a whole rule because of one game a year.
I do think if both teams now on the new rule are allowed one possession, which they are, then that second possession, the clock should be allowed to run out. If you still are possessing the
You're
football.
Saying the way it would have been in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's all. That'd be my only adjustment.
Look,
but Jordan Love, I don't know. Dude, I'm shocked the Cowboys clock operator did not just let that that clock sit another second. Like, I don't know how there was still 1 second on the clock. And Jordan Love, he was about to run out of time. He did basically run out of time there. I don't know why he wouldn't spike the ball on the third down.
That man has integrity. That's why,
They got very fortunate. And my money line bet on the Packers was very fortunate just to be a void.
Yeah, that is a flat void.
It was part of a parlay because they were significant favorites.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah.
If you wanted to make an argument that it should be a 15-minute quarter instead, I'd probably hear that out probably before let's just let people, because
I just don't like ties. Like, you play 40-40, you play that long at a freaking tie. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I don't like ties either. But I mean, we don't need to go adjusting it just because there was none in 24, none in 23. There were a couple in 22, 1 in 21, 1 in 20.
They already adjusted the rule, though, this offseason.
1 in 18.
They do adjust it, though. They switched it to the postseason rules without the clock issue.
I think they need to not worry about a clock at all. You put the ball on the 50-yard line, each team gets a possession, and then you see how it goes. And if you go to a second one, because as opposed to college, I think you should at least be able to get a first down to get yourself in field goal range.
I don't think, this race against the clock should be something that you should care about. I like and look, you could say this because this is a truly American sports thing. We're up against the clock in American sports. Worldwide, they don't do it that way.
I mean, not in college football.
But in U.S., their overtime rule, no. But at any other point, it's a race against the clock.
Yeah.
Clock takes it the same reason like the Elam ending in basketball. Yeah. It's a race against the clock. It just is. I don't think that there's, the NFL didn't do anything wrong. The Packers could have just hurried. They could have, operated with some pace. They could have pretended like the clock mattered. And they didn't.
Yeah, I would just go full go with what they do in the Super Bowl. And I understand the Super Bowl can't end in a tie, but if I am each team now is allowed one possession of the football, even if the first team scores a touchdown. In this case, it was a field goal, but still, if the Cowboys would have scored a touchdown, the Packers still would have got the ball. The Packers, they should have the length of that second possession to finish out the clock. That's all I'm saying.
I just don't think I don't think you need a clock. I think it's more fun if you just let the clock shouldn't matter. If it's 4th and 10 and you got to go for it to get into field goal range, you got to go for it. I think managing the clock is just what I don't think it's needed because college football overtimes are great, and I think it gets each team a possession, and it's a shorter field. I think that you don't worry about punting.
A lot of people hate
the college overtime is great for the first two. Not when the third one becomes a 2-point shootout. That's the dumbest thing ever.
You're right about that. The whole 2-point thing is ridiculous.
Because why, Drew? Why do they switch it to that? Because they're trying to speed this up. It can't take 5 hours. That's why I just don't want a non-running clock. At some point, sports have to end.
I know, but
I don't want them to go.
We'll pick this back up.
I think it's more fun to watch.
We're late. We'll pick this back up, I promise, but we're way late for a break. Well, let's talk about Brashard Smith on the other side a little bit of this rushing attack. Plus here from Isaiah Pacheco. It is a Victory Monday on Cody and Gold.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
The FanDuel Sportsbook app is your home for all your favorite NFL bets, from yards to touchdowns to who's going to win the game. With FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. And when the Jets and Dolphins, we also got a doubleheader. We got the Broncos and the Bengals play later tonight. FanDuel is giving all customers a 50% profit boost token or 2 30% profit boost tokens. So that's right. You can get in on the action with either a 50% or 2 30s for this Monday Night Football doubleheader. So make FanDuel your go-to app for any snap. All you need to do is visit FanDuel.com. Use my promo code KFNZ to bet the Jets against the Dolphins and also the Bengals against the Broncos. Play your game with FanDuel, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amounts. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Casino LLC. Gambling problem? Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
This is Creed Humphrey. Kansas City has the best fans in the world and the best bull riding team in the PBR. The Outlaws are looking to win it all this year, but they can't do it without you. I'm the chief of Outlaw Attitude, and I need you to pack the house. So buckle up and make some noise. The Outlaws are coming, and we know KC will be there with us. Come see Kansas City's next dynasty and join me at PBR Team Outlaw Days, October 3rd through 5th.
is Danon Hughes. In Kansas City football, we honor tradition, but we always look forward to what's next. That's why I'm all in for Flight by Yingling. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, but built for today. 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, crisp, clean, and full of flavor, just the way a light beer should be. It's got the legacy and the stats to back it up. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Danon Hughes. D.G. Yingling and Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
I'm retired, newly retired, so this was my first summer not working again. But I had problems with my shoulder. I mean, it was just like 1,000 needles going into my shoulder.
Mike didn't want surgery. 6 months in a sling was not how he planned to spend retirement. That's when he heard about QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
It's a free appointment. And after the first treatment, the next day, I went out and played golf. The pain just wasn't there.
No drugs, no surgery. Just your body's own natural healing power. Orthobiologic concentrated and placed exactly where you need them to go to work.
I couldn't have asked for a better experience. I don't want to take on Mike Tyson, but he'd know I was there.
Now Mike's heading back to QC Kinetics to get his knees treated.
It changed my first summer being retired. It's one I can remember instead of regret.
Get back to doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today to schedule your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond is worthy of a Shane Company engagement ring. Our team travels the world to see diamonds in person and handpick each one. That type of dedication only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. No matter your budget, your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Save up to $4,500 with Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter, thanks to limited time tax credits and special incentives on energy-efficient HVAC systems. But don't wait. Those federal tax credits expire after December. Upgrade your heating and cooling system, and you can enjoy lower energy bills and year-round comfort. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Call 913-888-4262 for your free consultation. Visit callhamilton.com for detailed terms and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
With great deals coming this Prime Big Deal Days, October 7th and 8th, greatness is a deal away. So if you love baking, you can get a deal on a new mixer, transforming you into the Lord of the Loaves.
Hear ye, hear ye! Make way for the baron of brioche, the sultan of sourdough, the Lord of the Loaves, Prime Member Dave!
Yeah, hi?
Get up to 40% off with Prime Big Deal Days, October 7th and 8th.
Too many tools, too much stress, and way too many bills.
Odoo replaces it all. One connected platform for every part of your business, so you can work faster, smarter, and for less. Odoo, the only software you'll ever need. Try it free today at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Sports fans, listen up. 1 in 8 men will be diagnosed with prostate cancer, and bladder leaks can be a side effect. That's why Depend is teaming up with the Prostate Cancer Foundation to encourage screening. Because health is a long game, and it's yours to win. Now here's the cool part. Through November, Depend is contributing up to $300,000 to prostate cancer research by donating 25 cents for every purchase of Depend shields, guards, and Real Fit products. Void in Mississippi. Learn more at Depend.com.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
Hey, it's Trent McDuffie. The Chiefs Radio Network pregame show starts 3 hours before kickoff right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM. HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey Sports Station.
Chiefs will be under center. Double tight. Left side. Pacheco, the running back. Mahomes stays with the called play. After a long count, rolling left side, dumps it, Pacheco at the 5, angling near side, touchdown, Kansas City! As the Chiefs on the short roll touchdown pass, Mahomes to Isaiah Pacheco, and the Chiefs lead 19-7.
Of course, Mitch Holthus on the call yesterday right here on 96.5 The Fan, a much-needed touchdown for one Isaiah Pacheco. We'll hear from him in just a bit. He spoke in the locker room about obviously some of the frustrations and then how big it was to find the end zone after things were not trending well this season, let alone the first half as well, where there was once again a key drop. And so then you started to see more. Brashard Smith also worked into the game. And that's where we'll start this hour here on a Victory Monday in Kansas City, talking about the backfield a little bit, which is still obviously a major question mark. We've talked already about how great the offense looked as a whole, but if there was still a big concern, I think it would be the running game. I mean, Xavier Worthy was the leading rusher for this team, all right, and one of them was a 35-yard run. He finished with 38 yards.
Longest run of the season for the team.
Pacheco finished with 7 carries for 35, which, yes, you look and you say, hey, it's a 5-yard average, no problem.
Still not a running back.
And then Kareem Hunt, 13 carries for 34 yards. Brashard Smith, the stats aren't going to pop and be crazy, but 4 carries for 9 yards. And then in the passing game, 3 catches for 27. That's where his role, guy played wide receiver in college as well. That's where when we've talked about the Jerick McKinnon-esque type of role, and you're starting to see more snaps as they trust him. You saw him on third downs more and more. That, to me, is where he's going to have to be more involved. And you saw it a little bit yesterday, Cody, is third downs, trust him more in pass protection as he gets more confident, and basically get an extra receiver on the field, but out of the backfield, you can see there's a little more explosiveness there. He broke a tackle. When's the last time you saw a running back break a tackle on this team?
Other than Kareem Hunt to help gain 1 yard.
Yeah.
That's about it. And look, he also ran, and I think the broadcast correctly pointed it out, he ran a route kind of weird where it looked like Mahomes sprayed the ball wide, but if you listen to the broadcast, and Tony Romo's right, if you go back and watch it, he starts going upfield, which is not what Mahomes was expecting. Yeah. You can see Mahomes be like
behind him, yeah.
You can see Mahomes be like, you're going the wrong way. I need you to stay where you were and kind of make it work that way. So there's still improvement. I thought what we saw for the first time yesterday, Gold, was the team admitting that there might be a problem with Isaiah Pacheco. I don't think he lost his job in the middle of the game yesterday, but I saw them at least acknowledge that maybe it's worth putting a ball in the hands of Brashard Smith in an attempt to find a playmaker out of the backfield. So I don't think Pacheco's not the starting running back as of today, but I do think that they were, at least based on the way that they had structured it and how early they got Smith involved and everything else in between there, that they're at least acknowledging a willingness to move off of Pacheco. I also thought Pacheco played significantly better the second it appeared. His job might be at some risk during the game. It looked like everyone was running better than him, and then he picked it up. So I don't know, maybe just felt the pressure. Maybe the holes opened up and he hit it.
Yeah, the offense at that point in time maybe was just rolling and clicking. I don't know what it was, but yeah, he played better as the game went on. I mean, Brashard Smith ended up with 7 touches in this game. Pacheco, we mentioned, the 9 touches in the game. But after the drop pass on a screen that finally was set up perfectly. They had a screen set up perfectly. After that drop, I think it was 2 possessions. I have to go back and check. I think it was 2 straight possessions that Pacheco really didn't get on the field.
I think Nate Taylor put on a screenshot. It might be a walk-in touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, the screen was there. The screen was there. So that was really frustrating when you have this is where sometimes the conversation about blaming Andy or Nagy on play calling. Sometimes the play call is great and the scheme is great and the player doesn't execute. That's one of those circumstances where the player didn't execute. But I agree with you that later in the game, Pacheco seemed to run a little bit harder, and whether it's coincidence or just, the defense of the Ravens at that point in time was so beat up that there were just gigantic holes. I don't know. I'm not trying to diminish.
He just played better.
He played better. He did speak in the locker room, though. We were there, and he said, the score, I wish it would have come a little bit earlier, but still, it was obviously a good feeling with everybody getting involved.
I feel amazing. Good start. Hit the reset button. Could have got in there a little earlier, I felt, but it's all good. Bad plays happen, and, that's how you bounce back. You get the next one. and put it on your back.
As one of the skill players on this offense, what's it like when Pat is just getting everyone involved?
Oh, it's phenomenal. You got guys making plays left and right. We got Smitty coming in, making a play, a big, huge one. And, you got the offensive linemen doing great, one play at a time, and the receivers making plays. So when you got guys making plays from the receivers to the running backs to the tight ends, it's contagious.
He talked about just kind of a reset there at the beginning. Like, basically, they did kind of like sit him for a drive or two, like relax a little bit, reset. And he did play better, but Brashard Smith has to continue to be part of this equation. And each week, the snap count should go up a little bit.
Here's the numbers for this week.
Okay.
Kareem Hunt led the way with 44% of the snaps. Isaiah Pacheco was second with 37% of the snaps, and Brashard Smith had 26%.
Okay.
So we're not quite yet at third. But I'll tell you this, based on the first 3 weeks, we're working towards it.
A true running back by committee. That might
Why
be
not?
with what they have in the backfield. That's what it should be. They have
different skill sets.
Yeah, different skill sets, and they don't have just a flat out stud in the backfield. That's just not what they have at this point. We don't have to rehash the conversation you and I have had throughout the offseason about we obviously would have liked them to invest differently in the position, but this is who they have. We can all dream about trade candidates. Maybe that becomes a reality in 3-4 weeks or not, but that's not happening for a month.
The way I view it. And yeah, I do think that'll be a real conversation. Until then, just give them equal time. At the very least, your argument will be they're fresh. Like they're ready to go. The legs are good. Let's keep these guys going, because it's not that I think Pacheco has no value. Because again, if he holds onto that ball, he's likely to catch a pass that maybe ends up getting him down to the 5-yard line, maybe in the end zone. I mean, he had the ball, and when it hit his hands, he had both Simmons and Kingsley ahead of him to block, and there were like 2 defenders left on the left side.
It was set up perfectly.
I mean, it was like
it was
getting ready to be a thing, and then he dropped it. And from that point on, he played really good in the game. And so I don't think that there's just nothing there. But this time, there's no reason why he's the person who just gets the most of it. And they're also probably going to have to manufacture Xavier Worthy. But we're 4 games into the season, and has anybody led the team in rushing that is a running back? Can we just get that once? Can we get one running back to lead the team in rushing? Is that so crazy? It's been Mahomes,
last week,
and Worthy.
Yeah, last week it wasn't Mahomes.
Thank God.
Yeah. Remember the Giants game? It wasn't. It was Hunt.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Not by enough or by a lot.
I don't know the gap, but remember that was the whole thing after the Giants game. At least Mahomes, it's 2 games in a row now. Mahomes has not been the leading rusher again, and you notice
Worthy
and the offenses look better. I mean, it's not a secret. That's not what the offense ever needed to be. That was the why everybody was concerned the first 2 weeks. Patrick Mahomes, it's not sustainable. He can't be the leading rusher. Unfortunately, the last 2 weeks he hasn't. Now, as you pointed out, Xavier Worthy being the leading rusher at 38 yards because of a 35-yarder is not what you necessarily are going to want across the season. But they got creative with it.
Pacheco led them last week.
Yeah.
45 yards.
Okay.
Mahomes didn't run at all last week. He barely ran this week. His last 2 weeks.
I want to say
they won both games. He's run for 2 and 4 yards the last 2 weeks, and they've won both.
I'd have to have Drew check. I want to say we on Friday we were talking about Pacheco props and stuff. Was his yardage 34.5 or 35.5? He finished with 35. 34.5. He finished with 35 yards.
I thought that seems insanely low.
Well, I think he finished right on the number.
Well, Vegas knows.
They're pretty good. Anyway,
that's money for a reason.
Some thoughts on the backfield situation. A reminder, coming up at noon, the only place you can hear from Andy Reid after a game, after a win in this case, is right here during Cody and Gold on 96.5 The Fan. We will bring you that right at noon today. I would suspect everybody will be feeling in an even better mood. You could tell that after the win yesterday. After I think we acknowledged the last couple of press conferences, maybe the last few games haven't always been the best given the state of the team and how things were going, but I would guess a little bit different. Also, maybe feeling better about the situation in the AFC West. Let's talk about the Chargers and Jackson Dart and his performance. Unfortunately, the news earlier today that Malik Neighbors is out for the year. Reports did confirm, the testing did confirm, an MRI did, I should say, with a torn ACL there for Malik Neighbors. But the Chargers, they had a chance in that game to show that this is not the same Chargers.
We're not going to do it again.
Win games you're supposed to win, trap games, however you want to phrase it, right? I don't know if you buy into that, but
I buy into trap games exist.
But
I don't know if
for the Chargers, this was a game to me. If they would have got out and handled their business against the Giants, I think I would have said, you know what? All right, they're different. This is a team that's going to be different than the previous Chargers teams. And I'm not saying the Chargers now are just going to stink the rest of the year. Of course not. They're going to be a problem. The Chiefs have ground to make up. But that's the type of game the Chargers of the past also would have lost. Joe Alt gets hurt. Herbert makes a bad interception. You're letting a rookie go run all over you in that game. Malik Neighbors is out, and you still can't win the game late. The Chargers chargered on Sunday, and it was nice to see.
I don't know, it was maybe Thursday, whenever we do all 32. I told you one of my storylines to watch for the next month is that the Chargers offensive line has a lot of injuries, and we have to see if they can actually hold up against certain teams. Justin Herbert looked awful in that game. He looked uncomfortable. There was constant pressure. I know he's only sacked a couple of times. He couldn't make those hero throws like he made against the Broncos, which you're not going to be able to get every week. In 1 week, all the goodwill gold they had built up is gone. And now the Chiefs are just beat them in December away from it's even again. And whatever happens the rest of the way outside that one game is now all you have to do is play better than the Giants in every game, or than the Chargers, than in every other game except for the game you play against each other and to beat them. That's it. They erased all the goodwill as far as like their ability to be ahead of the Chiefs in the division, to have a comfortable leeway in a single game by losing to the Giants.
Yeah.
And Justin Herbert was good. He wasn't like a superstar. He was very good.
Yeah, he didn't light the play. You know, it wasn't one of those performances you're like, oh my gosh, they have found the future franchise quarterback. He played very well. You should be promised.
He threw for 111 yards. He didn't like light you up. I know he ran for
You should feel, it's a promising sign and everything. But yes, I mean, I think, let's be honest, as much, the defense, I'm not saying the Chiefs defense would have gotten gas, but fortunate Russell Wilson started that game, and you have,
for sure.
Jackson Dart, there's no film on him and all that. That obviously didn't help the Chargers defense. And it's not like the Chargers defense played terribly. They only gave up 21 points. It wasn't like a bad Chargers defense performance. It was their offense.
When they lost all in the middle
brutal.
of the game to a high ankle sprain, and they were already hurt on the offensive line and having problems. Then they lost their backup left tackle. They're at like 0.2 or 3 at every point in the line.
Well, the reason why it was a perfect day night, the Chiefs win, the Chargers lose, but the Chargers have the Commanders next week. Jane Daniels has missed 2 weeks in a row. There's a chance McLaurin and Daniels are back, and we'll have all week later on to look at it. But if the Chargers are hosting a Commanders team that has Jaden Daniels healthy and playing in the game, that's a game the Chargers could suddenly lose as well. And then all of a sudden, after all that, they could be 3-2 very easily. Then the schedule lightens up again. They have the Dolphins, Colts, Vikings, Titans. So you would love to see if the Commanders could get them too, and all of a sudden things level back out.
Chasing them the entire year, because that is a fairly easy. Now the Colts are obviously a more tough matchup, and by then Minnesota might be not throwing Carson Wentz out there, might be back to
McCarthy. I don't know if we've really. I mean,
I don't know. I'm just saying, and Carson Wentz looked good in one game and then really awful in the other. So their schedule is a little bit of an unknown, but we don't know. You know what? Easily the most confusing part about the Chargers is to me is that they, in the history of their franchise, always operate like this. It seems like they've unlocked something with Quentin Johnson, who had another huge game for them. 337 yards now in the year and 4 touchdowns. He had 98 yards, 8 catches, and a touchdown. And at the same time, so they finally get him going. Ladd McConkey's broken now? Like, Ladd McConkey has not been a factor in their offense at all this year, except for kind of the Chiefs game. And then outside of that, he's been almost a non-factor. In back-to-back weeks, he's barely shown up. He doesn't even have a touchdown on the season. He's been worse than Tyquan Thornton. What the hell happened to Ladd McConkey? What happened to this offense? And I think a lot of this is they can't operate the same way because their offensive line's no good. I think they're going to have a problem, Gold. You'd mentioned their schedule. I think their schedule, until they get Joe Alt back, they're in the Chiefs stage. You better be in the survive in advance stage. Your schedule's not important, because if you can't block, all these games are going to be close. That's the truth. I think the Chargers are going to be fighting for their life for the next month. Doesn't mean they can't win all 4. These are winnable games. But I think they'll be fighting for their life because of the offensive line.
We'll see. I mean, I thought O'Mara Hampton looked legit.
He had a good game.
You saw that.
He had his best game, actually.
That's the one thing, we were just talking about the Chiefs running back. This Sunday in particular, if you were frustrated about the draft pick selection and not investing high enough, even though Brashard Smith, I think we're all acknowledging that there's something there if he plays more and more. But Hampton looked amazing. Obviously, Genty was a top pack in the draft. He looked like Ashton Genty from Boise State. There was multiple young Cam Scatterboom, multiple young running back performances that made you realize there was plenty of juice in the draft. They just chose to go in a different direction, and we'll see how it plays out. If Brashard Smith gets more playing time, maybe we're going to be sitting here in 2 months and say, well, you know what? Brashard Smith's the dude. But got to continue to see more from him. I think it's promising, at least now that he's getting on the field a little bit. All right, let's get to it, Drew.
Trash of the day.
All right, this involves a boom truck driver, okay? This is in California.
Okay.
So this truck driver had quite this early Saturday morning. So after hitting multiple cars, 6 parked cars. All right.
Oh, man. That's a tough day.
Now, this guy went from just hitting these vehicles to then fleeing. So there were people asleep in their cars when the driver hit them. Now, I'm very confused about the area. I have no idea. Boom truck driver hit 6 parked cars, and then it said people were sleeping in the cars. I have no idea. That doesn't make any sense to me, but whatever. It went from bad to worse, though. After hitting that, the driver tried to free his truck because his truck got stuck in this accident.
Into a parked
car.
So
he tried to rock the truck back and forth while one car remained stuck to his bumper. I mean, so he's like, reverse drive, like trying to get
You
the
gotta
car
just call
free.
a tow truck at that point. You can't just keep damaging cars.
He then drove across the street before neighbors pulled him from his truck. All right?
Okay.
The man then broke free from the crowd and accidentally ran into a nearby water canal when he was trying to escape, and he seriously injured himself. So far, no arrests have been made. So you wreck a bunch of cars, you're trying to escape the scene, then you think you're going to run away, and he didn't pay attention. He fell in one of those giant water canals, like pretty good drop, concrete.
Hurt himself,
yep.
This always goes back to the thing. You might as well just admit it then.
Mess around and find out.
You're in a lot less trouble if you just accept that you've made a mistake. You've crashed it. Like the time I crashed a box truck into the sandstone ticket gate. I just called someone immediately. I'm like, hey, there's a problem here.
Someone said, what's a boom?
Like, what happened? I'm like, I crashed it. So, like, let's get somebody out here to work on this.
Boom truck. It's like the utility type trucks or the crane. Like they get sometimes have like the.
It's got the lift on the top of it, so somebody could go work on like a telephone line or whatever.
Yeah, or it could have. Yeah, yes.
But the point, the type of truck is not what's even important here. It's the fact that he kept crashing it into every parked car in the street and then tried to escape so that they wouldn't notice, and then put it into a water canal.
Yeah, people are saying they're imagining the scene from Austin Powers where he's in that tight tunnel and he's like trying to go back and forth. He's stuck.
I saw over the weekend there was just like people like the big social media trend is to create these like random pop-up events like the Bobby Wood Jr. Lookalike contest, but like create random pop-up events that create random buzz. And so in Pittsburgh there was one that multiple people were posting about, that somebody just posted signs all throughout like a general area of the downtown area. It said parallel parking contest, free to enter. And they had 2 cars parked, and they were allowing these cars to come show off like their parallel parking skills. I'm gonna guess that this guy would have bombed that part of the test. Did you guys do okay at parallel parking at the driver's test?
Nope, didn't have to.
Oh, that's right. We learned that. What the hell?
Didn't have to.
You said in Kansas they weren't testing you on anything.
I didn't have to do that
I can't believe
at
they
all.
let you guys on the road. You said you went around the corner and you're like, good enough. You can turn a steering wheel.
Yeah, basically I just had to prove that I knew what a stop sign was to stop at the stop sign,
insane.
turn my signal on, make a right turn.
It was a 100-point thing where they dinged you for like the wheels being turned the wrong way, parked on an uphill or like on an
I've had to do a bunch of
downhill. Like, I mean, I'm not kidding. Those were all things you got judged on the Missouri side for driving.
I've had to do multiple living in multiple states. As long as your license isn't expired, usually you don't have to do a driving test again. But because I've lived in Idaho, I had to do a driving a written test. In Texas, I don't remember if I think I had to do one in Texas. I don't remember. Idaho was the tougher one. I think I told you guys many years ago, the Idaho one.
It includes like a lot of forest.
Yeah, so that was a challenge. The written test, because it's one of those where like, I'm not reading the book. I just, you can get through this without reading the book.
What's this, a Yeti?
It was honestly, there's a lot of questions about like wildlife and what happens if you hit this thing and then mountain driving and all this. I'm like, oh no. So that one,
some extra tests.
So that one, that one I did twice in Idaho.
You parallel park now?
Yeah, but I don't ever have to. I'm good with I'm driving the F-150 from Shawnee Mission Ford. It's got the 360 camera, so no, it's not. It doesn't do the automatic parallel park, but it makes it very easy with the cameras. It's got sensors everywhere. You gotta really screw it up. I mean, I like when you can do it. It's convenient.
So I didn't have to do it in my driver's test either, but
what's going on here?
But I did practice it a lot. I think I'm okay. I'm not bad, but I don't think I'm the best parallel parker by any stretch.
I think I'm
fine.
Like top 10%. Because I'm not afraid to do it.
Top 10%.
Top 10%.
All right.
Shockingly, Cody thinks he's the top 10%.
I think we need to have a test of this. I think we should have like a...
Put some cones outside?
Yeah, something like that. I think we should.
Put it to a test? I usually use the car in front of me as the marker, so that'd be
the
a
way
little
that
bit
you're talking about this, Cody. I want to see if you can. I want to see if you can do this. You're not top 10%.
Get some cones out in the parking lot and give it a test.
I don't do it on a regular basis. There was a stretch where I was doing it every day when I lived in Wichita. I lived downtown, and so the way the parking was, it was street parking right outside my the loft or whatever. And so I got really good at it. But that was with the small Mazda. So that was, I could get into some really tight,
that kind of
I
anywhere.
get some pretty tight spaces with the Mazda.
Well,
but there was no backup camera in fairness on that one. Now it's cheating almost. You got the backup camera.
I still don't use it. I'm too used to
You
parallel.
don't use it.
Not for parallel parking. For reversing into a spot, I don't reverse into a spot, but for reversing, I do.
I would say, in fairness, Cody, the side of the building that you park on, sometimes parallel parking might be
we've got
necessary.
Well, I don't know what's going on the parking with the people I associate with over there. The 2 parking jobs that exist consistently on that end are insane.
We told you you're not allowed to complain about the parking over there. We got an email years ago.
The entire time I've worked at Honest.
We got an email years ago that said nobody's allowed to park over there, and Cody, the rebel that he is, parks over there still. But there are people that will take up 3 or 4 spots, and they'll just park sideways. It makes no sense. And then there's another truck that will park diagonal. It's weird. I don't know what's going on over there.
I don't know. But it's obviously intentional. They park the exact same way every time. They're just trying to wrap their car around the post or something.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I don't know.
Maybe they're worried about the
people.
catalytic
By the way,
converter getting
it's the
stolen.
people over at KMBZ, if you're wondering. Okay, it's
That means
all of
there's
them.
something under
Actually,
that
one
light
of the
pole
2
that
who
needs
park over
to-
there, I believe, works at the Rock.
Okay, but 2 of them.
But at least one of them's KMBZ, and the other one is KMBZ.
If you're trying to surround the light pole, that means there's something either hit and something's going on over there.
I think for a while people were doing that to try to prevent their catalytic converters from getting stolen. But I don't know. Well, then just park in the front of the building where we have cameras.
And lights.
Yeah, that would help.
Anyway, that's the trash of the day. Up next, we'll get to the Chiefs Red half hour. If there was one issue yesterday in particular, it's the kicking. We'll get into that. How concerning is it? And we'll also talk more about the big momentum swing for the whole season that yesterday brings.
This is Cody and Gold. Tune in for Nate Taylor every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Cody and Gold are brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Obviously, more football tonight and in full swing over at Underdog, where you can select entries and win money right now on the Missouri side. From your couch tonight, you can be watching the doubleheader for football tonight, making those selections at Underdog. It's super easy. You just choose which players will go higher or lower than their stats. Touchdowns, interceptions, whichever you're feeling for the evening, all available over there tonight. For instance, I've not been very high on Nick so far. I like him to go lower than 248.5 passing and rushing yards, even if it is against a bad opponent, because I think they'll just be in scrape across to get any kind of win against Cincinnati that they can. You can make those selections and so much more over at Underdog with a variety of options. Champions and Pick'ems, champions of peer-to-peer fantasy contests, participants create a roster of 2 to 8 athletes. Submit those and have a chance to win a tournament with other participants. Those all available over at Underdog. So download the app today with promo code TAP, T-A-P-P, to score $100 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAP, T-A-P-P. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms. _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncbgambling.org.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/royal rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800 800-284-1238. 800-284-1238. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-284-1238.
Calling all Chiefs fans. You could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Enter to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of the pregame coin toss. Call it in the air. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is coming soon to the Show Me State. New Missouri customers can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today. And when we go live, place just a $5 bet to unlock $300 in bonus bets. Starting November 17th, you can create your DraftKings Sportsbook account in Missouri and get ready for launch day on December 1st. DraftKings Sportsbook brings you everything you need to elevate your game day, including live in-game betting, lightning-fast payouts, and endless ways to get in on the action, all right from your phone. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and grab $300 in bonus bets with just a $5 bet when we go live December 1st. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Let me tell you about this new pretzel cheddar club. Hey, I'm Carlos.
And I'm Ebony. And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Pretzel Cheddar Club
is the tangy Dijon with the pretzel bun. It takes it to a whole nother level.
It goes perfectly with the chicken and the cheddar cheese and the bacon.
Man, you know how much you love bacon. And I love the different varieties. Grilled, spicy, original. It gets you nice and excited for fall.
Order the Pretzel Cheddar Club with Cherry Berry and Sprite for a limited time on the Chick-fil-A app. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Stay comfortable year-round with fast, reliable service 24/7, even weekends and holidays. Already invested in repairs? Save up to $4,500 on a new HVAC system. Schedule today at AnthonyPHCE.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. check them out at allweatherdecks.net.
Coming up in 25 minutes, we're expecting to hear from Andy Reid. You guys know sometimes on Mondays it goes a little bit later, but that's the expected time right at noon here on a Monday. The only place you can hear from Coach Reid is 96.5 The Fan. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us on our video stream as well, up on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, X. Make sure you subscribe. I believe the Odyssey app is working now. So
I was given an email that says service has been restored for Odyssey.com and the Odyssey app.
Okay.
But they're monitoring it.
Yeah, I know some people were having issues with that. That was a nationwide thing, so hopefully everything is good to go now. So you can listen, of course, on the app, obviously on 96.5 FM and over on the Fan AM, over on 610 AM. So appreciate you guys here on a Victory Monday. We've gone through the offense, the defense. We'll get back into it. Obviously, Xavier Worthy, one of the big stories coming out of the game, to see him back on the field and everything just opened up offensively once he was out there. And a huge, huge win against Baltimore. There is still one thing that I think is reality for the rest of this season, and that is, are you confident that Harrison Butker can get some things corrected? I tweeted it out yesterday, and some people got mad at me. To me, you're in denial if you don't think Harrison Butker's kicking is a problem. Now, that is not me saying that they're going to cut him. That's not me saying that they should even necessarily bring in a kicker this week. It's just the reality of the situation they are in. They have the highest paid kicker in football. He is missing at far too high of a rate for being the highest paid kicker in football. You might text in and say, hey, it's a 56-yarder. What do you expect? In 2022, I would agree with you. The thing is, 56-yarders are becoming way more commonplace, especially if you are the highest paid kicker in the NFL. So this is more of a, hey, do you think he can get it corrected for when it matters most? Because some of you, I think, responded and said, hey, he'll figure it out by the postseason. I hope that's the case, because I don't think they're going to make a change. This is not, there's nobody better off the street. That's not my argument. There isn't. Off the street, I don't think there's anybody better. It's just that you are allocating resources to make him the highest paid kicker in football, and he is not delivering. We looked it up today. I think there's only 8 kickers that have a worse made field goal percentage in the league than him right now. That's obviously not acceptable.
I'm not even sure if it counts as 8, because 2 of those guys have been cut by their respected franchises. And Young Ho Koo, who just got another kicking job because somebody got hurt.
Yeah.
And of course the the Bears kicker, Titans kicker, whoever, not the Titans. He had a rough weekend. This past weekend he missed like the first 3 kicks. But he, right now, and this is the point, do I think there's a chance that Harrison Butker could figure it out? Sure, but I'm no longer counting on it. It's below 50% chance he'll figure it out by the end of the season. If he finishes this season at the rate at which he's currently going, he will have been below league average in extra points and field goal percentages made for 3 of the last 5 years. That sound like the highest paid kicker in the NFL to you? Below league average? He currently ranks dead last in extra point field goal percentage made, and he ranks 26th in field goal percentage made. So really, I said 8 worse. That's because some of the guys, there's been more than 32 kickers attempting kicks this year. And you can say, and look, my argument is not they should go out and I think there's someone maybe as good as him right now on the street. Maybe not over the course of the season. As good, not better. I want to make that clear. Here's the problem. Here's what I want. I'm not saying, because his cost, we've already gone over this.
He's not getting cut, and I'm not saying he should be cut. There's nobody better out there, and they can't cut him, frankly, because of the numbers. It's just that the situation, a lot of it is banking. People are banking on 2022 when he struggled early and he got going. I'm just saying, at some point, your kicker's 3 years older, and you don't have that same accuracy percentage anymore. He can still be a very average kicker, but you were pulling up some numbers. That's not even what he's been necessarily so far. That's the problem. Again, 8 kickers, only 8 kickers have a worse field goal percentage made this year.
It's pretty much anybody, including the guys who are off the street kicking for new teams, have been better than him. So it's my thing on this is there's nothing you can do about it. It's he costs what he costs, and he is your kicker. Yeah, if you're the Chiefs, you just have to cross your fingers and pray to who you pray to and hope that Harrison Butker is a better kicker tomorrow. Here's the thing. I do want, in the meantime, the Chiefs to stop treating him like he's the old Harrison Butker. Don't. Just because they clearly, the way they ran the offensive play the play before, don't, and we aren't anymore, just settling for 56-yarders or 50-yarders or 45-yarders. Your job is to treat it like you have a below-average kicker, because that's what you're getting right now, and instead do everything to put them in the position to make the kick. That's the change I want to see offensively. No more just being like a 55-yarder will get it done, because that's how that 6-point swing before half, they were clearly resigned to good enough. that's close enough to the end of the time. He'll make this. Clock will run out. We'll be up 2 possessions. We'll get the ball before half. And instead, you end up getting a 6-point swing before half. Don't just settle for 56 yarders. Get the ball closer. That's all.
I think some of it is you got to be more cognizant on if it's a third and 6 and you're in range at that point in time, you're in quote unquote field goal range. It's a 58 yarder. You maybe have to be a little bit more aggressive. Is it impossible for him to ever make a 56 yarder again? No, that's not what we're saying. I'm not saying that he can never make a 56 yarder. It is the fact that you're paying him to be the best kicker or one of the best in the league, and he just simply has not done that. Overall, his day, right, he was 4 for 4 on extra points. I think he was 3 for 4 for kicks. If that was only his first or second miss of the season, then we're not having the conversation. It's not just about yesterday. I think too many people on the text line are acting like...
It was like the only negative of the season. He's missed a kick in 4 straight games.
People are acting like it's just the 156 yarder. He's missed 4 kicks in 5 games, I believe, including an extra point, correct?
He's missed a kick in all 4 games.
Okay.
Like they played 4 games. He's missed a kick in all 4 games.
5 kicks in 4 games, though.
Yes.
Okay.
5 kicks in 4 games, and he's missed extra points during that time. And so, again, he's dead last in extra point percentage, and he is way below average. And I had someone get into it like about last year. So it's like, we'll only kick 25 times. I'm like, that's worse. It's easier to juice your percentage based on that. You should be missing kicks even less.
I hope he figures it out because we all know.
Of course I hope he figures it out.
Come playoff
He's
time,
mattered a lot for them.
Come playoff time, they're going to need him. And that is still the one thing that I think you can definitively say about him. When it is a clutch moment in the postseason, he has always delivered. Always. Is this a sign that that's not going to be the case? Unfortunately, we're going to probably have to wait to find out when it doesn't happen or does happen, right? Until it ultimately costs you a playoff game or something. That's basically where this is going out because they're not going to sign a new kicker. There's nobody better off the street. It's just the confidence before you would have had a 90% confidence, and you can say, oh, well, that's not how most kickers are. That's the point. He has not been like most kickers throughout his league. He's been one of the best kickers and a guy you can count on. We're just saying, like, it's not the same feeling anymore around him, and it's not just because of yesterday.
I will say that, and I think that this is, you mentioned it, and I kind of want to emphasize it again. You had mentioned, like, oh, it's a 56-yarder. What do you want the guy to do? There's a huge...
Oh, not me.
I'm just saying, like, as far as, like, like, that's what the text line is saying. What you were saying is, and I think is a very important thing to note, the NFL's changed. And one of the reason Harrison Butker was paid the way he was paid is that he was the big leg kicker who could make it from anywhere. And he's made a 59-yarder this year. He can still make a long kick. I'm not saying he has no leg.
Yeah, the kick before halftime against in the Chargers game was awesome. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm not saying he can't make a long kick. I'm telling you that everyone can. Here are the longest kicks, just a few, by anybody made in the NFL this year. Chase McLaughlin made one yesterday at 65 yards. Aubrey from 64, Riker from 62, Boswell from 60, Elliott from 58, on and on and on. All I'm telling you is there have been half of the league has made a kick of 55 yards or more. So it can't just be like we're all good from there. And I'm not saying that should be a high percentage of kicks because like the best kicker in the league, we all agree is Aubrey. He's made all of his kicks from 55 plus or 50 plus. Okay. Harrison Butker's made 3 of 5. It puts him in the wash. The distance, I'm just saying don't treat him like he's the exception to the rule, which he's been for a long time. Just treat him like every other kicker. And then we can put this to bed for a little while we wait for him to maybe turn back into the Hall of Fame track or whatever he was on before.
Yeah.
And just in the meantime, treat him like he's any other kicker. Treat him like he's Nick Folk or Brandon McManus or any other just dude in the league. And not like he's the best kicker in the NFL, which he was at some point in his career, but hasn't been for the large majority of the last 5 years.
Someone says he's missed 3 kicks, including extra points. It's 5, I believe.
But all of this goes away if he starts making kicks in the playoffs again. Because
that's what I'm saying.
The consensus in Kansas City is, doesn't matter until the playoffs start. So for all we know, he could miss 10 field goals this year, and then if he goes 5 for 5 in the playoffs and they win the whole thing, who cares?
Correct. But that absolutely. But that is also then rolling the dice, and then you're waiting for it to cost you a playoff game. Then, and that's the reality. There is no other change to be made.
You're
Basically,
more nervous, for
he's
sure.
in the playoffs. Hopefully, he's as clutch as he's been his entire career because he's been clutcher than any other kicker in the last 15 years come playoff time. And I hope that's still the case. I think we're just saying that like you can't count on that the same way. There's no way you can count on it the same way based off of what we're seeing. That's all.
And again, it matters a little bit. And you're like, well, he's only missed 3 kicks. Okay, but 16 NFL kickers this year have missed 1 or less field goals. So even if you're just saying he's missed 3, he's missing triple the amount. Is half of the league. It's all I'm saying is treat him like what he is.
I just think if people are honest, when you watch him kick, just be honest with yourself.
Weird.
Do you feel?
No,
well,
it's
not even that. I'm just saying when you watch him kick, do you feel as comfortable watching him kick as you did a year or two ago? Like, before you're like, all right, 40-yarder, he's got no. But now, be honest, you're a little nervous when he's attempting a 45.
I'm always nervous whenever there's field goals attempted. I'm always a little bit nervous that the thing's missing, just because it's so difficult to do.
But in Kansas City, for a long time, we didn't. I agree with you that
That's so
amongst
crazy.
the rest of the NFL, there was genuinely from like 21 to even like when he was hurt a little bit in 3 or 4 or whatever, there was a good gold 4-year run where every time Harrison Butker stepped up to kick, I had genuinely almost no fear that the ball was going to miss. And now every single time he kicks, I'm like,
it's just nerve-wracking to watch. It's basically life of most kickers in the league now.
Yeah, but that's the whole point.
Yep.
You and I are both saying like there's nothing you can do about the contract. He's your kicker, and just hope he gets better.
Someone say he can go kick rocks. That actually is a funny text.
That's pretty good.
Come
on, that's a pretty good text.
That's a
he
good
can
text.
kick rocks instead. That's not bad. I enjoy. It's funny. It's very funny.
Yeah.
Look, here's the truth. If you made me guess, I know next year he's not cuttable. They'll be looking for a new kicker in 2 years because his contract won't let him be off the team next year. But yeah, he'll be in an open competition or just off the team in 2 years because that's the way kicking works in the NFL for most teams. Now, meanwhile, I would argue that is maybe the only negative thing.
Otherwise, it was a complete
that happened
win.
in a near perfect effort from the Chiefs. The offensive line had their best game. Patrick Mahomes had his best game. The wide receiver unit had their best game. Travis Kelce was his best. The defense was their best. Whatever the thing is, because going into it, the Ravens' offense was lighting everybody up. And they made Lamar Jackson uncomfortable from jump. Really, after the first drive on, Lamar never looked like he wanted to stand in a pocket, be anywhere near that thing. I like that in the single biggest swing game of the year so far, admittedly, we don't know what will happen outside of it, in which you are the most desperate, I could argue, you've been at any point in any regular season under Patrick Mahomes, where you're 1-2 and you're staring down 1-3 with conference losses, division losses, and everything else in between. They played their single best game in 2 years. They played their best, Gold. That's what that game was. You and I were probably enjoying it from start to finish. I would argue after the first 3 drives, where the Chiefs had kicked 2 field goals, I'm like, come on, let's get in the red zone. After that, it was near perfection. And even like, if you take it in totality, it was. That was the best game. Do you think that they played a better game than that last year? Even the Bears game, it was a much worse opponent.
The Christmas Day game is the only other game that I think was close to an all-around complete performance. The offense looking fun and entertaining. Creed Humphrey was in the locker room after the game. I believe the audio was up on our social media channels after the game, if you go to our Instagram or Twitter X accounts. And Creed acknowledged, like, their offense, when they're having fun, the offense is at their best, or when they're at their best, they're having fun, right? Like that's and that's very evident. If anybody watched the game yesterday, just notice we're not talking about any sideline blow up because one didn't happen yesterday because things were going great. It
was a party.
It's not a coincidence that there wasn't any coach or player yelling at each other, bumping into each other.
And Chris Jones had to come in under like.
Yeah,
he was there
very
like 30 minutes, 40 minutes before kickoff.
The guys talked about that in the locker room. Obviously, condolences to him and his family, and he had a funeral to attend in Mississippi, and he landed back around 2:40. There was a time you were like, was he going to run out with the team or not? And he made it for introductions and everything. But the guys acknowledged it, like it provided an energy jolt to them when they saw him walk back in that locker room, right before the game started. That motivated everything. That he wanted to be back so bad to be with those guys. Like, and so it kind of raised the bar and level for everybody else. Like, I'm going to go fight with that guy because he was willing to through a very tough time for him. And he spoke pretty openly about that in post game as well. So no, I thought that was a pretty intense kind of moment, and to see that play out that way.
It was, I obviously always put like life above. It's still a job in the end. So put regular life above that. And he did. He went to the game, he did that. But he found a way to do both, which we so rarely get the opportunity to do. It was very cool. It was really, really, really cool. But also, it's not like he had 4 sacks. It was just maybe even more than the most dominant. It was the most balanced. Maybe that's the word I want. It's the most balanced I've seen the Chiefs look in a really long time. Offense did their part. Defense did their part. Like everybody kind of played their role. There was no weak link, right? It was balanced in every conceivable
it was a complete win.
And that's what really stood out. And look, I understand that the Ravens were hurt coming into the game and then got more hurt as the game went on. But if you had spent any time on the national, like if I don't catch at least one national media show gushing about Mahomes the way they gushed about how Josh Allen and Jared Goff and those offenses looked against the Ravens, even though we know the Ravens defense is bad.
In fairness, a lot of it last night, he was getting plenty of love on Sunday Night Football and stuff. There will be some people that move the goalposts. I think that'll happen later this week. People will say, 7 starters were out by the end of the game for the Ravens, but that was by the end of the game, not when they were moving the football on Baltimore. But at the same time, during the week, heading into the game, national folks were saying, well, the Ravens are just all around a better roster and better football team.
It's inarguable is what they were saying.
So then to now act like, well, the Ravens just aren't any good is moving the goalposts. No, that was a complete performance. So that Mahomes' first 4 touchdown game since 2023, they had everything going. And yet we still acknowledge the running game is still not where you want it to be. And Rashee Rice is still not playing football games for you. That's what's exciting about this is even if you're not convinced fully, like, okay, that the offense has got it figured out. All right, well, they still don't have their best offensive playmaker on the field, and yet they put together that performance.
That's what really stands. Yes, of course. We can all now dream the dream that is this is a top 3 offense when they come back from it, because for the first time, they absolutely looked like that. And again, Mahomes, it was nice to sit back on a Sunday, Gold, and just have, after the halftime, zero stress, none. You just sit back and you're like, oh, this is nice. What a nice, relaxing football game of zero concern. Everybody looks good and is playing good, and the weapons look good, and Mahomes looks comfortable. And some of this is just a reminder that what Mahomes looks like when things are in sync. When the offense is in sync, he just looks like, and by the way, the passing the ball quick, that didn't change. He was still doing it. It was still like 2.5 seconds average time per pass. He was still getting rid of the ball quickly. They didn't even adjust that. That is maybe just a part of their offense now, which we can talk about maybe later in the week. That might just be who they are offensively now. But it didn't feel that way. It didn't feel like they were rushed. It felt like, in a weird way, despite that fact, it felt like they were taking their time.
Yeah, he had great protection throughout most of the game.
And some drives looked easy. They had the one drive that was like 14 plays. But some of the drives looked easy, like they could move the ball quickly down the field and score. I don't know. It was just one of those games where, at the very least, everyone got to take a big, deep breath. And for a swing game, Gold, of the importance we talked about, now they're 2-2. And the narrative gets to be, you're 2-2, everything's fine, go beat Jacksonville on Monday night. And even if 2 weeks from now they were to lose to the Lions, and I feel better about their chances to win that game now, certainly, after the way they performed against the Ravens, they'll be 3-3 and Rashee Rice will be coming back. And the Chargers did you a favor and lost. And that added more pressure, I thought, on that game, knowing that you could just be a game back of them. The Chiefs knew going into that game that the Chargers just done them a
I don't know if
favor.
I buy into that. I mean, the opportunity was, there that it could turn out to be a really good Sunday if you want. I don't know if the team was feeling more pressure because the Chargers lost 15 minutes
I'm just saying there
early.
was more pressure on the game. It mattered more from my perspective.
Oh, for fans, sure.
Yeah,
I thought you were trying. Okay. I was like, there's no way the team was.
That game mattered more, even more than it did. Knowing that the Chargers had lost,
you could benefit more, from the game. Obviously, there's no way that the team felt that.
The Ravens now have the second highest scoring offense in football. The Bills have overtaken them, by the way. The Chiefs' schedule, if you look ahead, they still face a lot of good offenses. So good news that the Chiefs' defense is playing well, because the Chiefs face a lot of good offenses coming forward. I don't know I think the Jags are one of the top scoring offenses in the NFL too. They're one of the top scoring defenses in the NFL. That's been their shift. I apologize. They draft defensive players. Anybody remember? What are they taking?
They drafted Travis Hunter, who's been getting.
He's both. That was their top pick. Yeah.
Both. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
they've obviously got Josh Hines-Allen, who's one of the best pass rushers in the league. He's gotten off to a really good start this season.
We'll talk about the Jags more later in the week. But they have...
Yeah, we got till Monday for that game.
Yeah. Detroit in 2 weeks. That's the top scoring offense in the NFL. They've got the Bills in week 9. That's the second scoring offense in the NFL. Just faced Baltimore. They're 3. Colts. They don't have Colts, do they?
The Chiefs, yeah.
Oh, they do have the Colts. Yeah. That's the 4th.
At home. It's a home game.
They will have on their schedule, by the time it's done, all of the current top 5 scoring offenses in the NFL: Detroit, Buffalo, Baltimore, Indianapolis, and Dallas.
It's nice to have the best defense in the league, too.
Philly is 7.
Yeah.
So, Washington is 8.
Yeah, fortunately, the defense is playing as one of the better units in football right now. We'll see where we'll see where that Dallas offense is at by the end of the year. We'll see where the Colts are at by the time they play them. But yes, right now it's trending in that direction.
I'm just saying, as it sits right now, the top scoring offenses in the NFL, 7 of the top scoring offenses in the NFL, of the top 8, all are on Kansas City's schedule before week. What's the latest one they have in the schedule? The Colts? They've already played half of these teams. Colts, probably.
Yeah, Lions and Bills are first.
Yeah.
Then they'll get to the Colts.
Good time to have a good defense, I guess. At least the way that works.
All right, coming up next, we're expected to hear from Andy Reid. He only speaks right here on 96.5 The Fan on his Monday press conference. That's up next here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trent McDuffie. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Let's build your dream deck over at All Weather Decks, the right deck at the right price. Again, it is beautiful weather in Kansas City this previous week. It's supposed to continue to be incredibly nice this week. And I know you've been spending more time outside and you're realizing your outdoor space isn't what you want it to be. Look, I've been there. I get it. Like I didn't have a screened in porch at my previous house. The nicety of having that available. Keep the bugs away. You turn the fan on. I was watching the football game out there on Sunday. It is my favorite place to be this time of year. So whether you're thinking about that fire pit as it's coming around the corner, you're trying to get ahead of next year's outdoor projects to make sure All Weather Decks will take care of those needs for you. Composite decks, wood decks, outdoor lighting, patios, pergolas, fire pits, all of those things available with pictures of their award-winning work over on their website at allweatherdecks.net. Schedule a free estimate today by giving them a call, 913-206-1974, or online at allweatherdecks.net.
If you're in the market for a new home or looking to sell your home, you need to contact the only agent I would trust if I needed to sell my home. It's Dawn Sharp with the Sharp Homes team, brokered by Epic Realty. And with so much inventory coming on the market, buyers have choices. The Sharp Homes team helps you stage, photograph, and present your home so it's qualified buyers remember and want to fight to buy your home. Contact Dawn and her team via Google. You can just Google Sharp Homes Team. That's Sharp Homes Team. And start packing.
This October, the whole family can ride along for the wildest weekend in Kansas City. PBR Outlaw Days, October 3rd through the 5th at T-Mobile Center. Cheer on your Kansas City Outlaws as they battle the world's best on the dirt, under the lights. KansasCityOutlaws.com. Get your tickets now at PBR.com. Kansas City Outlaws, all grit and no quit.
Looking to drive your finances downfield? Main Street Credit Union is the hometown team you can trust. We help you build credit, lower monthly expenses, and finance with confidence. Or if you need a loan to grow your small business, we've got flexible options and no hidden fees. At Main Street, it's not just about the win, it's about keeping Kansas City moving forward. One goal, 1 yard, one member at a time. Get in the game at mainstreetcu.org.
At KCUC, you see the best in KC. With more than 50 expert providers and 20 convenient locations, you get the care you need quickly and close to home. From advanced diagnostics to the latest treatments, KCUC offers cutting-edge technology that sets us apart. It's no wonder we're the region's premier urology and oncology center. You deserve the best. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? You need Jay's Southland Tow Service. They have over 20 years of experience servicing the KC Metro. They specialize in light, medium, and heavy duty, as well as commercial transport and construction equipment. Keep this number handy, 816-779-4869 or southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments, Jay's Southland Tow Service. There's nothing they can't do, so be in the know and use Jay's Southland Tow.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first TD score wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Mr. C, it's me. Well, I just picked up the ring. I actually went to Hellsberg. Thanks for that recommendation. Kate's gonna love that hers is from the same jeweler you got Mrs. C's ring from. They were so helpful throughout the whole process. They even knew your family by name, and the ring looks great. Anyways, I just couldn't wait to let you guys know. Call me back and wish me luck.
Hellsberg, designed with care and craft since 1915. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
What's up, Kansas City? It's Nick Bolton. Tune in on game days to hear the play-by-play with Mitch, Danon, and Clean on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
It is noon. That means it's time to hear from Andy Reid, brought to you by Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others.
Again, I appreciate the opportunity always that we have to play at GH Field at Arrowhead Stadium, and the fans and how they go about welcoming in the opponent. So again, my hat goes off to them. And then there were a lot of individual things. I mean, we can go through, but it's I just thought overall, I thought the coordinators, all three coordinators had a good plan going into this thing. Offensively, I mentioned how Nags utilized number one coming back. Xavier getting him back in the mix of things, I thought was impressive. The run game part of it, being able to get that established early, I thought was important against this crew. The offensive defensive lines, I thought most important was getting them started, and they were able to do that. I thought Spags on the defensive side had a nice plan there, again against a very explosive offense, and that was relatively healthy. The defense was banged up just a little bit, but the offense was pretty much intact, and coming out and being able to be strong against that group is always a plus. And I thought linebackers, Bolton, he was in on a lot of plays, but most of all, it just the calls that he has to make. He's Spags' quarterback, and for him to be able to work his way through all of that, I mean, it takes a lot of time and effort, and he does a great job with that. And I thought the back end stayed aggressive, which in the run game and the pass game, anytime you can hold 22 to just a few yards that he had, he's a tough dude, man. So again, that was some of the special teams was solid. I mean, you saw some of the tackles and angles that we took. That is so important on special teams, and whether it's blocking or tackling, being able to get yourself in the proper position. And Tobe does a great job with making sure that things are set up schematically where the guys can do that, and then the guys take such pride in it. And then I know Pat's accomplishment. My hat goes off to him for all that he's done in his short career here. We're still young at 30, and he's done a real nice job of setting all these records that he's done. Most of all, I love the way he brings the team into it, and that's a good thing. And he and Kelce are kind of creeping up on being the old guys there. So Kelce definitely is the older guy, and for him to come out and have a good day, I thought was good. Anyways, with that, and Chris, let me go back one more thing. Chris Jones, loses his aunt and goes down to the funeral, flies down, flies back on Sunday, and then jumps in and plays a heck of a game. I mean, the guy, he's something special. And, that's, I really respect him for all that he does for the team, but, also taking care of his family at this time is very important to him. So with that, time's yours.
Let's start with Sam McDowell.
Hey, Andy. Wanted to ask you just about the offensive line. It seemed like there was better pockets for Patrick yesterday. What do you think overall of how that group was?
Yeah, I thought they did a good job there. Andy had a good plan for this crew. I thought the young left side there, I thought stayed strong, and then the right side I thought worked well together. I thought Reid probably had his best game. He's been pretty solid all along, but this game here, I thought he really played special.
And then also George Karlaftis. I know that the first couple of weeks probably weren't what he wanted, but just what have you seen from him over the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, George gets a ton of snaps. He plays almost the whole game, every week, and very seldom comes out. Again, he brings that aggressive heartbeat, and even though he might not get home, he's always around, and he just keeps getting better. I mean, that's he's got a little bit of that diehard battery deal in him, so he keeps on going.
Let's go next to Nate Taylor.
Hello, Andy. Two guys from a rookie standpoint that you guys have been playing more, and I'm just interested to see what your sort of level of excitement is about Noah Williams and Brashard Smith and where you might see their progress going throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, so both of them have got a little bit more time in this last couple of weeks. I know offensively, Nags is just trying to increase Smith's reps, every week and putting him in positions where he can do some things. So, and he seems to be handling it good. And then Williams, likewise, Spags has put him in and a little bit bigger role every week. And he seems to be stepping up. I know he had a couple nice physical plays in there, against some pretty good receivers. So that I liked what I saw there.
We'll go next to Sarin. Go ahead, Sarin.
A couple questions for you, Coach. First of all, on the fourth downs, is that kind of a pre-programmed, I know you guys go through all the different scenarios during the course of the week. How much of that is like, okay, these are the scenarios, this down and distance, this part of the field versus just your own personal feel for the game when they come up?
Yeah. So we try to stay aggressive in that area, which that's why you're asking this question, and try to be relatively smart with Sarin the best we can. So judgment obviously is a part of that, and Nags spends a ton of time on that with Andy Heck. They go over and crank that stuff out, and Tom Melvin's involved with that too. So and Corey, so they get in there and they kind of grind on what they see there, and then the pass game and the run game, and we've been able to do both and be successful on both, which has helped. And then it's just a matter of where we're at, the situation of the game. You've got to take that into consideration when you're doing it. But we've tried to stay aggressive. Pat's got a good feel on that too. When he's out there, we've got a lot of trust in him. Some of these things we're doing, he's got options on, and he's got to be spot on when we're doing them.
Kingsley, I know you kind of addressed the offensive line as a whole, but just specifically, according to some of the grades, it looks like he maybe had his best game. What did you see specifically from him?
Yeah, he was very aggressive in the game. I thought the run game, really that third quarter, and second quarter, he was like he was really on fire there. So that was a good thing. And then the pass game, he was again solid there. I'd probably agree with that. Whoever's grading that, but yeah.
And then last, 66% was the snap count for Travis Kelce. I know sometimes guys are gassed and they just kind of walk over to the sideline and kind of take themselves out. But do you have kind of a sweet spot on where you think, how often he should be in there now in his career?
Yeah. So that's probably a good area. I thought he really played well. And in both the run and the pass game, I thought he looked strong all the way through. He's in great shape right now, Saran. That's the important part. He came back and he'd really trained hard and aggressive for this thing. So, and he's such a big part of it. Just not only his effort, but just the mentality that he comes in these games with. He's all in all the time. And then it's my responsibility. He gets mad at me, but it's my responsibility to, make sure that we don't get too many reps in there. That we give him at least a blow here and there. He'd play every play if he had his choice.
Let's go next to Pete Sweeney.
Thanks, Sid. I'll just have a second if you don't mind. Coach, pretty successful in the red zone in this game. I guess, what did you see in that regard that maybe led to some of that?
Yeah, so David Girardi does a lot of the red zone stuff and puts it together, and I thought he really did a nice job with just getting some just good stuff in there and stuff that Pat felt comfortable with, stuff that the backs and the receivers felt comfortable with, and he does a nice job every week with it, but we just had more opportunities, it seemed like, this week to be able to utilize it, and it worked out well.
And then in the past 2 weeks, it seems like the run game has kind of come on in the second half. Any rhyme or reason that you see for that? Maybe the slower start in the first half, and then is it just a matter of a rhythm, or is it anything more than that?
Yeah, listen, the problem, Pete, is like if one guy is off, there's a problem. So the more those guys play together, I think it should improve even more as we go. This group we're playing this week is pretty stiff in the run game. But again, it's a nice challenge for our guys. But you got some young guys in there that haven't played a lot together. And I think that just the more reps they get, game reps are so important on that.
Thank
you.
Yeah. Let's go next to Jesse. Go ahead, Jesse.
Hey, Andy. Every team's different. Every season's different. I just wondered through 4 weeks, about a fourth way through, big picture, what you've learned about this team.
Yeah, they'll fight you. I mean, that's maybe it's not all pretty, but they're going to keep fighting. And when you fight and study and practice hard and do all those things, you're going to make progress. And I've seen that from them. They haven't really flinched on some of the negative things that have gone on or negative plays. They just get back on the horse and go.
Go next to Matt Derrick.
Hey, Coach, one housekeeping question first. This week, Najee Johnson and Jake Breeningsteel would be eligible to be designated to return or at least start their practice windows. Where do those two guys stand?
Yeah, they're doing good. Matt, I haven't hit Veach on all this and or Rick or the docs on it. So, but I know they're doing well in their rehab up to as they've been working here. I mean, I get those updates and they seem to be doing good. I don't know the move that we'll make there or if we make a move.
And, now you've had a chance to see it in action with Gardner Minshew being a part of that quarterback group. What's he added to the quarterback room, and what's the dynamic between him and Patrick, especially Gardner as a sounding board for Patrick?
Yeah, Gardner's he's a brilliant guy, first of all. I know he's got the mustache and the hair and all that stuff that goes with it, but he's brilliant. And he's got such a good feel for things as far as the game goes. And I think it's great for Pat to be able to talk with him. And, he understands, he's been a starter. He understands when to speak, when not to speak, when to, jump in or not jump in. And I've appreciated having him here. He's a lot of fun to be with too. He's got quite a wit.
We'll go ahead and finish this out with Todd Lebo.
Coach, I just have a kind of a league question. Last night we had a tie, 40-40 in that game. And you've only been a head coach in one tie. That was the old rules. I know you've been around the competition committee and stuff. Are the overtime rules now? Is this where they should be? The 10 minutes and 2 possessions? Are we just going to have some ties sometimes?
Yeah, I mean, listen, nobody wants a tie, I don't think. That's what goes on. You're juggling a lot of different things when you do this, Todd. So you've got TV and how that works, and the media is a big part of it. And then you've got time restrictions, so on and so forth, that these guys all have to look at. That's not my world, but I know that it's not just a matter of, hey, we can play forever. It's not, that's not where we're at right now. And I think you take the health of the player in there too. And you start tagging on a bunch of overtimes. That's a tough thing to do. So they save it for you for the playoffs, and until then, if you get a tie, you get a tie, and you move on from there. But there are a lot of things that they have to consider.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, so that's Andy Reid exclusively here on 96.5 The Fan on Mondays. It's brought to you by Arvest Bank, believing in the power of serving others. A couple things. One, and I know we'll talk about this more as the week goes on and maybe tomorrow, but it sounded like when he was asked about Travis Kelce's snap percentage and everything, which was 66%, and some of that was also, remember, late in the game. There was no reason to have him out there. But he basically acknowledged what last week I feel like they wouldn't, which was when he was asked last week about the little dust-ups on the sideline and said it's not a big deal, but didn't really give a reason like what the argument was about. I feel like and we can play the audio tomorrow and dive deeper in this, it felt like he basically answered the question this week.
When he takes him off the field.
He's like, look, he wants to be in there every snap, and he's like, he gets angry at me when I pull him off the field. I'm like, so is that the reason why we see the dust? It's just that he wants to be out on the field more? Is that the whole thing?
Feels most likely. And he was obviously trying to give Matt Nagy a ton of props this week, and I'm sure it's because he heard the noise of all the people being critical of what this offense has looked like the first 3 weeks before that, and the criticism Nagy has received as a result of it. Like I said, you get some credit, you get some blame. I just didn't like that we'd gotten to the point where people were like, well, it's all Andy, so Nagy gets no bearing in it. I'm like, no, he gets some of both.
Yeah.
He gets some of the credit when things are going well and some of the blame when things are going bad.
Yeah, my thing with that is just but see, as long as that's what my issue sometimes is, I feel like when things are bad, everybody says it's the OC's fault. And when things are good, Andy's just the genius. And so it's the reverse of what you were saying a little bit, where it's like, obviously he's to blame when the offense is not going well, along with Andy. But I feel like I
feel like we've taken it too far, where we're just like, we can't blame Nagy at all because it's Andy's offense.
No, I don't think it's that. But I think it's gone to the extreme of where now when things are well, though, then it's he has no role in that either.
No, I don't think
that's
that's
not
the case.
fair
I
either.
just think Andy must have heard it because he mentioned Matt Nagy 14
I mean,
times.
he also gave I think he opened up the whole presser, giving props to Tobe and Spags
All the
and
coordinators.
Nagy and all that. It was a complete win. It was a really, really solid win. We'll get back into that tie stuff he was asked about at the end in the 1 o'clock hour. Talk more about the Sunday night game and the tie stuff. Also, don't forget Mondays, our friends over at 30 Hop. Great day to head to 30 Hop. $5.99 classic burgers at both locations, Lee Summit, and of course down the street from us, Merriam's, a great Grand Station area that they got built up there with some nice shops, restaurants, including 30 Hop. They're your new go-to American bar and kitchen with bold flavors, local taps, expansive patios, unbeatable happy hour. You can stop in for some lunch, stay for happy hour. 30hop.com. Local beer, American Eats, big patio.
Good patio week, I'm going to say.
Very much so.
If you're thinking you want outside for a $5.99 burger, this feels like this is a patio week, no doubt about it. So definitely get involved in that. Shall we? On a Monday, we occasionally take a look around the league. Shall we find out whose stock is up?
Yeah.
Whose is down?
I'll start with a little stock up. Ashton Genty.
Oh, Boise State. Of course. Here we are.
It never should have been down, though.
I don't know, man. He's pretty bad those first few weeks.
It never should have been down. Like, here's why it shouldn't have been down, though. There was a lot of criticism toward him for not producing, being a top pick, and I understand it, but I don't have the exact analytic numbers in front of me, but someone did a deep dive on essentially on 80+% of the snaps, he was hit behind the line of scrimmage. As in, the O-line stinks. Didn't even have a chance. Yesterday, he got a little bit of space, and you saw the athleticism, made some guys miss, ran over a few, broke a tackle in that long touchdown run that he had against, I get it, the Bears. But, stock is up, even though it really should not have changed all that much. So 3-touchdown game versus the Bears, by the way.
Bears' run defense is pretty bad.
The Bears did win.
And they did win.
Blocked punt.
We ended up going 4-1. And Pick'em, we're 9-1 in the last.
Circa Millions.
We're 9-1 the last 2 weeks. We're hot.
Makes the first week that much more annoying.
Let's ignore that for a minute. Just be happy with our 9-1 the last 2 weeks.
Even Max Crosby was asked about Ashton Genty, of course, on his teammate on the defensive side of the ball. He said he looked awesome. Everybody has their opinions about Bleep in September. Now they're going to jump on the bandwagon. It happens every year. He's an incredible player. He's going to keep getting better. I love the way he works. He went on to call him an animal.
Ooh, wow. An animal, huh?
That's right.
That's always a good sign for a running back. Look, that's his best game of his career by a mile.
Sure.
He'd obviously been quite bad. He still has some work to do. I saw some of the advanced numbers still say that yards after contact could certainly be better for him, but he looked real good in that game against the Bears. My stock up actually matters for this week a little bit.
All right.
Liam Cohen as just a head coach. What's funny is it's not even for the reasons I thought it was going to be going into the year. We thought Liam Cohen could make Trevor Lawrence look better, maybe take Brian Thomas to a whole new level. Brian Thomas only has 170 yards receiving so far this year. Slow start for him. Slow start for Trevor Lawrence. It's been defensively where they have been significantly better. They're in the top 5 of defensive points per game so far allowed this year. I'll give Liam Cohen credit. This is a team that is pretty much, I think, underperformed by national media expectations any given year. Off to a 3-1 start. Could be 4-0. They're beating up on bad teams.
Go
and they
win
got
the
the
South.
Chiefs this week.
Go in the AFC South.
They win this week. They're going to really plant their flag of.
I hope they don't win this week.
I know, but I'm just saying. Then his stock will skyrocket. But because the South is so winnable, Liam Cohen stock up. I feel like he's looked. He hasn't looked like a buffoon.
He's feeling good. He's out there barking with Robert Saleh after wins now as well. I mean, it's getting fun. Mr.
Duval
looking good.
My stock up is Kyle Pitts. He is.
Have you used Kyle Pitts before? Or did you use him for something else?
No,
this is not the first time you've mentioned Kyle Pitts, and that used to be me on this show.
I don't think I've done it for stock up. I think in terms of an all 32, I have because
all right.
Michael Penix is not lying. Did not lie when he said he's going to get more involved. Kyle Pitts is number 6 tight end right now in terms of total yards.
Pretty
with
good.
only 20 receptions. Other guys have more who are ahead of him currently. He has no less than 4 receptions in any game this season. He's targeted more. He's scoring touchdowns. It feels like he's a lot more involved in the offense, and I think that if you hung on to Kyle Pitts stock, then I think you're feeling a little bit better about yourself, given how things have looked this season in comparison to the last 2 years.
Look, he's had a pretty nice year. The Falcons have been a real mystery team to me. They sometimes look awful, and other times look really good. I'm like, I don't know what you are, and that's fine.
They were 2-2.
I'm very confused about what you are. And they looked awful in the 2 games that they lost, and really good in the 2 games that they won.
I think Kyle Pitts, though, like if you bought the stock at the beginning, you're still way down. Like the stock might be up, but if you bought that stock when you got drafted, you're still in the red quite a bit. It's
you
not
just
good.
held on to it, hoping it was going to turn around.
Yeah,
it's about 50% of its start value.
Yeah, I think the original stock price, you're still probably at least 50% off.
But if you bought the dip, bought low on
That's
Kyle
true.
Pitts, it's up.
If you bought him back in April, you're up a few bucks.
In fairness, what were we expecting out of Kyle Pitts when he was picked?
He was a top 10
No, hang on.
Everyone thought he was going to be the next Travis Kelce.
Hang on, I understand that, but Tyler Warren is also picked inside the top 15. He looks like the goods. Brock Bowers is also picked inside. So but he's
and
right
Pitts
there.
never did.
But no, he is right there with them currently.
This year, he was drafted 3 years ago.
I understand that.
Come on.
But he's matching. But he's matching expectations then currently to when he was picked. If he is he's around Trey McBride right now. I just gave you the numbers.
Drew, you're basing it off of this year, 4 games in, and acting like that makes up for the past 2 years where he stunk.
But he's within the group that he's supposed to be in, so it doesn't matter that he didn't get. He's there.
He also only has
currently
1 touchdown, not as many. You said touchdowns.
That's not how this works. You don't draft a guy in the top 10 and then say 4 years into his career he finally started playing well. this is not a quarterback where you're like, oh, it takes time to develop. If he turns out to be a great quarterback, it's fine.
The fact that he's there, it doesn't matter what.
Yes, it does. It's a 5 year contract.
He's also 6th, not 4th. Not that that's a huge difference, but I mean, it's like
him being an all-time tight end would not have made the difference in Atlanta the last 2 seasons.
That's not the argument we're having.
So I think that the fact that he's in that group now, it doesn't matter. If he's in the same grouping as Brock Bowers and Trey McBride, then I just gave you.
He's not, though. He's not.
Drew, for
there's no GM that would say Kyle Pitts is just as good as Brock Bowers at this point.
I'm not saying
Brock Bowers has been really bad.
He has the same amount of catches as Trey McBride and Brock Bowers this year, and is off by like 20 yards. He is as productive as Trey McBride has been this season, minus 20 yards or 30 yards, whatever it is. It's really not that much of a gap.
I'm not saying
Kyle Pitts has had a 3-year head start and is stunk.
For this exact moment.
But it doesn't matter if they get to that point eventually, is what I'm saying, which is why I think if you
I'm sorry.
His stock is up. I'm not arguing.
We can go. Yeah,
Let's get the stock down before we run out of time. John Harbaugh's time with the Ravens, stock is down. This could end up being we talk about it all the time with the guys who just run out of time. If this season goes south for the Ravens, why can't it be the last year of Andy Reid? Why can't it be in Philly? Why can't it be the Mike Tomlin that we've discussed all this time? They have been running short of expectations for years in Baltimore. At some point, does the time just run out on the clock on Harbaugh?
I mean, he's not getting fired at the end of this year.
No, I'm just saying, do they part? I'm not saying I'm just saying his stock down with time with the Ravens is starting to. His stock is down there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, the organizational stock is down.
All the time.
The organizational stock is down. We were having the conversation earlier about his window not just Lamar, but just the team and where the injuries are and everything. Yeah, I mean, Harbaugh has still been one of the best coaches in the league for the last 15 years or so.
Yeah, no doubt. But Andy was too. And then, if you have a couple of bad years in a row, your stock can change a lot. What's yours before we run out of time?
Yeah, stock down is the Dallas clock operator. You got to get the home field advantage there, man. You got to help out your home team. That 1 second, nobody's going to notice. One more second.
His honor.
If this game was in Green Bay and it was the Cowboys needing 1 second, there's no way that homegrown Packers fan clock operator is not letting that extra second tick off the clock.
That man is, he's man of his word. He said he'd do the job fair. He's doing the job fair. You think he's getting fired? How does the clock operator work?
He's not getting fired.
Does Jerry have it? Can you fire that person?
I mean, that's a team employee, right?
Is that a team employee or an NFL employee?
I don't think so. I don't think it's an NFL employee.
Oh boy, that's a team employee. Could you imagine if he did fire him?
There's a game day crew, I'm guessing it's like a game day. It might be a quote unquote neutral party, but you're still living in Dallas. You're telling me that guy doesn't have some allegiance to the Cowboys?
Oh man, I would not tell for a few weeks. I would not tell people that was my job.
And this is someone that had the Packers. This is not me complaining about a
NFL employee. Can't do anything about it,
But he's based in Dallas. You're telling
he
me
obviously lives there. No, he obviously operates a clock for every game in Dallas.
They're not flying clock operators to different cities every weekend.
He maybe grew up, Darren check, maybe grew up a Packers fan.
That would be. We're going to find out he's from Wisconsin. That would be a scandal. That would be a full-on scandal. That's stock down. Here on Cody and Gold. All right, up next, let's talk more about Lamar Jackson. You brought up Harbaugh, but let's talk about Lamar and bigger picture for the Ravens, plus the random question of the day right here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Josh Simmons. You're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Hey Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/royal rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Every big play starts with a first down, and every financial future starts with the right partner. Main Street Credit Union is not-for-profit and member-owned, which means we invest in you with guidance that's clear, tools that make sense, and people who actually listen. We're here to help you move the chains. Whatever your next move is, auto loan, savings goal, or paying off debt, let's make it one play at a time. Visit mainstreetcu.org to get started.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
Are you suffering from chronic joint pain like Heather?
I have terrible arthritis and have had it for quite a while, and I've gone to all kinds of doctors trying to figure out what to do, and everybody just said surgery, and surgery was months of rehab, and I didn't want to do that.
But then Heather discovered QC Kinetics, local medical professionals who specialize in natural biologic treatments, non-invasive solutions designed to repair and restore damaged tissue in your joints. And she absolutely loves the results.
I like to tell anybody who's suffering that there are options that are not steroids, that are not surgery. You owe it to yourself to find out about QC Kinetics and find out what they can do for you.
No surgery, no drugs, no downtime. Discover QC Kinetics and learn more about natural biologic treatments with lasting results.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics today, 816-412-6299.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-351-4596. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-351-4596. 800-351-4596. 800-351-4596.
The technicians you can trust with your house keys. Anthony Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electric.
Getting the job done right the first time protects your home, time, and budget. This summer, get $500 off a water softener and filtration combo. Schedule at anthonyphce.com.
Hey, September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, which is the second common form of cancer among men. There are many risk factors, like age, race, and family history. But there are lifestyle and prevention tips to help minimize your risk of prostate cancer. Eat a balanced diet, rich in fruits, vegetables, and lean proteins. Stay active with regular exercise. Maintain a healthy weight. Limit high-fat and processed foods. Don't smoke. Guys, encourage men in your life to talk to their doctor about prostate health. Zero's Run Walk is coming to Kansas City. Help raise funds and awareness for prostate cancer. Early detection saves lives. Don't wait. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Coming up in about 10 minutes, we'll get to the random question of the day. We do that each and every day right around 12:45 or so here on the show. Don't forget Sports Talk on 96.5 The Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game live every Sunday all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. You mentioned Harbaugh, Cody, during Stock Up, Stock Down. Let's talk more about the Ravens now in Lamar Jackson, because it clearly looked like a quarterback for the second straight week that was flustered, that a defense was getting the best of him. He had 7 sacks, we all know, the week before. The Chiefs got after him. I'm not saying he doesn't have a hamstring strain. I think he is hurt. But he did not look like a guy that was fighting to get back in the game. It looked like he was throwing in the towel a little bit. The Chiefs frustrated him. He knew his defense wasn't stopping the Chiefs. He knew the game was over. And basically, kind of just gave up there. Didn't really fight to get back in, which I was surprised to see from a quarterback that's won an MVP in this league. And it's a Lamar Jackson-led offense and team that they don't have reinforcements coming. That's the difference for pick, whether it's the Chiefs or any other team that you think is underachieving or thought we're going to be better. Some of those teams you say, okay, the Niners have all these injuries, and the Niners, by the way, still have 3 wins, but they're they got all these injuries. Or you point to the Chiefs and say they don't have Rashee Rice or whatever. You can come up with reasons why maybe their performance is the performance. We know the Ravens' injuries are ridiculous at this point in time. That's true. But some of those guys aren't coming back. And they were also, 2 weeks ago when they were pretty healthy, they also were struggling on defense. So this story for Baltimore this year, the division in the AFC North is absolutely up for grabs. Pittsburgh's in the driver's seat. I don't think they're going to run away with it, because I'm not convinced that the Steelers are, frankly, as good as their record is. I think they're taking advantage of what they should be. They're playing, Justin Fields and Carson Wentz for 2 of their wins. Good for them. They won those games.
I view, we can get to the bigger picture with Lamar. As it sits for this year's team, I will not be taking the Ravens seriously as a contender until proven otherwise. I'm not saying they can't re-enter the conversation, but they aren't in it right now. And I will no longer be taking excuses from the Bills or the Ravens or the Bengals or any of these teams, unless it's quarterback, as it relates to injuries. The Chiefs last year, without their number 1, number 2 wide receiver, their starting corner for their second corner for a stretch of time. They didn't have their left tackle I'm sorry. Sometimes players are missing. And the Chiefs still won 15 games and went to the Super Bowl. So you could win football games and be hurt. They are, as sits, the worst defense in the NFL. I don't know if that happened. Some of that is injury, sure. Some of it is bad roster construction or players who aged or whatever the hell happened. But they are no good. They have no pass rush, and they cannot guard in the secondary. Bad combo, and they certainly are showing as a result of that. So until they prove to be a serious contending team who can beat good teams again, I'll just be putting them to the side. And right now, there's only one team to worry about in the AFC. That's the Bills. Until now, it's Chiefs and Bills, and I'm not going to worry about anyone else until they prove worthy of being worried about. In the long run, the bigger issue is the more I watch Lamar Jackson, and maybe it's because it's specifically what he's done against the Chiefs, the more I watch him in these games, he has withered in multiple games against Kansas City. He looks like a shell of himself in these games. And it doesn't look like a guy who's ever going to get over the hump. That's what it looks like. Right now, it is just starting to feel like this compounding problem of, are you ever going to get past these teams? Are you ever going to, step up your game in a big spot? I know I'm not saying he's never played good in a single game against any of them, but he's played consistently bad in more of them than he has the other way.
Look, he is judged solely at this point of his career based on what he does or doesn't do in the postseason. That's the reality. When you reach the level that he has, right? He's won an MVP. We all know he's one of the best quarterbacks in football, period. He's judged on postseason performance, and he, as a team, has not gotten it done. Josh Allen, it's not about regular season accomplishments anymore. It's about, can he get the Bills to a Super Bowl? For Mahomes, it's been that way for a while, and he's actually done it. Lamar Jackson, the question I have about their team and with Harbaugh and where the roster's at now is their window, maybe you thought it was 3 or 4 years down the road. Is it closing quicker than we thought? Is it a 2 or 3 year window for them? Just given Lamar Jackson and his style of play, he's not going to be running around like that when he's 37. Okay, that's just not going to happen. I don't care how unbelievably talented, most mobile quarterback we've ever seen in our lives. That's all true. I don't think he can do it when he's 36 or 37. He will have to play a completely different style of football. He will lose his effectiveness. I'm sorry. I believe that's going to happen, and I don't think there's really any evidence to suggest that won't happen in 5 or 6 years. The question
He'll
is,
still probably be a good running quarterback, but not this level yet.
Is it going to be? Is the window going to close quicker when we think as the organization and as a roster? I mean, Derrick Henry. They only got a year or so left of that. Okay, so they will not have that dynamic backfield combo for much longer.
And he has not been nearly as good this year.
Tight end Mark Andrews is going to be retiring here very soon. He doesn't have any years left. You look on the defensive side of the ball.
They got some young guys
they've
there,
got
but
Kyle
they're
Hamilton
not
and
pass rush.
Marlon Humphrey. I don't know how old he is now, but Kyle Hamilton's going to be around for a while. My point is just to me, their best shot was last year and the year before.
I don't disagree.
And there's a chance that it may not happen this year, the way things are trending. And then next year, everybody's a year older. All these things, you have to strike quick. It's why it's so important, especially when you're on a rookie contract for a quarterback, to get it done. Things are tougher when everybody's making more money on the roster and all that. Yesterday, I was just disappointed if I was a Ravens fan watching Lamar because I felt individually, to me, he kind of just threw in the towel.
He might genuinely be hurt, and we'll find out as the injury reports and practice and all this stuff. Look, if he just practices like normal, even if he's a limited participant, well, they didn't even fight hard enough to be in that game. And it is weird to bail on a game for injury with 3-4 minutes to go in the third quarter. Gold, it wasn't even the fourth quarter. They were down 3 scores, but it wasn't even the fourth quarter. Their team can score in buckets based on any other portion of the season. So they had to at least have some confidence they were capable of scoring points based on the way that they had been doing it at any other point in the year. It was hard. And I don't know because I'm not in the inner working. From the outsider's perspective, when you watch that broadcast, it looked like the man quit. It looked like Lamar Jackson. It looked like he just said, I don't want to do this game anymore, and we're losing, and I'm done. It's
because he's in his own head.
And I don't want to do it. I don't know if
and
it's
he knows,
that.
and he struggles against Mahomes and Spags.
When he said, I think he's my kryptonite, for the rest of time, whenever he plays the Chiefs, because against the Bills, he plays fine. He plays good against the Bills. Whenever he plays the Kansas City Chiefs, he will always, for the rest of his career, be in his head.
Spags.
As soon as you say, Mahomes is my kryptonite, it is everything that is all, as soon as he spoke it into existence, even if it was a joke, that's something that you think at least to yourself, he believes it a little bit enough to say it. And I think that is something that affects him more than maybe we're willing to just say, because it's not like Lamar, for him to quit or for him to come out in the middle of the game, he wasn't playing that great anyways. I think he's in his head. I think he's completely and totally in his head whenever he plays against his team. And
like
Spags knows how to get to him, of course.
Of course, so did Joe Burrows, and obviously he had turf toe. So, sometimes the injuries can look worse than look like nothing.
I haven't seen an update.
But he was still playing bad before then. It's like he was playing good before. I mean, to me, it doesn't. It's pre-injury. He still wasn't playing good, and I think it's for the same reson.
We haven't seen an update yet to find out how severe the hamstring strain is. Who knows? Maybe he was. Let's put it this way: he was not listed on the injury report. So heading into the game. So this is not
if
like
he was dealing with a hamstring injury.
Nobody
knew it.
Then they hit it or whatever. The kryptonite thing, remember, was in reference to the Chiefs as a whole, not Mahomes is his kryptonite. It's that the Chiefs are his kryptonite, and so that's all Steve Spagnolo.
He is now 1-5 career against Kansas City, which is obviously pretty bleak. In 6 games, and he completes 59% of his passes. It's
not good.
It's the worst against any opponent. He has 6 touchdowns to 3 interceptions. But more importantly, and he's been sacked 14 times, which is the most, second most any opponents had sacked him, other than the Cleveland Browns, who are in their own division, and the Steelers, third most. He sacked them more, the Chiefs sack him more than the Cincinnati Bengals do. They're the same division. They play twice a year. And so the issues of where they are, it's like, this is why the hump part of it is important for me. Like, you and I all know that somebody in the triumvirate behind Patrick Mahomes, the Burrow, Allen, Lamar Jackson, someone's not getting a ring. Someone's getting left out in the cold. That's just reality. The math will ruin someone's chances of getting it. They're not all getting one and holding hands off to the Hall of Fame. Someone's not getting it. And the reason why I become more likely to just say it's Lamar Jackson is these games and the frustration he shows in these games, and that Spag seems to get him, and then the playoffs that they don't get to as many big games, because he is a great regular season quarterback. That's inarguable. But in the big spots, he's come up the least amount, I think, of the 3, right? Of the Burrow, Allen, Jackson.
Yeah, because Allen, we all know the 13-second game. That wasn't because Josh Allen played poorly. I mean, that was just the Chiefs had 13 seconds, and Mahomes was ridiculous on the drive. So I would agree with that. Actually, in the Josh Allen losses to Mahomes, Josh Allen has played very, very well. Lamar Jackson losses to the Chiefs, he has not played well. So I would agree with that assessment.
And they always seem, and like somebody's mentioned over on Twitch too, it's just the Chiefs are really good about getting them completely out of their game. Lamar never runs as much. They never run Derrick Henry as much. They're like a completely different team. They're just like out of sorts anytime they get up against Kansas City. How many carries? By the way, looked like Derrick Henry was going to run pretty well there. First 4 or 5 carries he took for them. And then never again?
913-586-7965. Someone on the text line for the 913 says, Lamar did throw for 41 touchdowns last year. Again, this is where Lamar is judged now, though. It's on postseason success and getting over the hump.
So he's a great regular.
He's an MVP award winner. He's a consensus top 5 quarterback, top 3 quarterback for some.
Should be a 3-time MVP.
I mean, the guy's going to be a Hall of Famer when his career is done, whether he wins the Super Bowl or not. Lamar Jackson is going to be a Hall of Famer. So the convo is not that he stinks. That's not what we're saying. That is the window closing. Can he win the big games? That's the fair conversation to have, I think, about him. Nobody's saying he stinks. My goodness. There's a very real chance he wins another MVP before his career is over.
He's genuinely great. And maybe that comment was based on the idea that you said his game won't be the same when he can't run. But that's part of what makes him a good passer.
I believe that. Yes.
Is it I don't.
He's passed a lot more. Like last year in particular was where he evolved a lot as a.
He still ran for 1,000 yards last year.
When you don't have
when he should have been the MVP.
When he's 36 years old and is not the run threat, I'm saying that'll cause a problem for him. That's all.
No, it might. And obviously some of his threatening to run is what makes things open up in the passing game. And historically, the guys who have made it longer, play longer in the league, into deeper age, are not the mobile guys. They're the pocket passers. They're the Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady's, Peyton Manning's of the world. They're the guys who stand back there and throw it. And so we'll see as his career goes. I'm just starting to think in those, I don't know, man. It's tough. It is tough.
Some people are arguing that Lamar's not going to be a Hall of Famer. Yes, he's going to be. Come on.
I mean, we know how the Hall of Fame works. Yes, he will.
Lamar Jackson will absolutely be in the Hall of Fame.
He's a 2-time MVP winner. I'd have to look.
Somebody he's never won a big game. That's not how that works, though.
Phillip Rivers might get in the Hall of Fame, and he's never won a big game either.
Lamar Jackson will be in the Hall of Fame. Absolutely. It is less of a debate than Eli Manning's got 2 rings, and people want to debate Eli or people want to debate Phillip Rivers. Lamar Jackson doesn't even have to go to a Super Bowl, and he will be a Hall of Famer.
Without looking, do you think that there's a multi-time MVP winner in the NFL that has not made the Hall of Fame?
Probably not.
quarterback-wise, I don't think so. No chance.
I mean,
any position, yeah, probably not.
It seems pretty unlikely. I mean, I don't want to say for sure. Peyton Manning has the most. I remember he had 5, and I think Aaron Rodgers was around that same number, 4 or 5. So, we know they're either in the Hall of Fame or will be in the Hall of Fame. Here the multi-time...
Every retired quarterback with multiple MVPs is already a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, okay. That's all we need to know. He's on a very short list, by the way. Very short list.
So it says if that's the case, if Josh Allen wins another MVP, will be in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, by the way, Josh Allen.
He'll also be in the Hall of Fame.
Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, all 3 will be Hall of Famers. Yes.
Burrow will have to be in the field more. He's the one you can't say for sure yet, but everyone else.
He's on pace.
He just got to be on the field.
Right.
We could bring on 10 national experts this week, and I would think at least 9 of the 10, if not all 10, would agree that Mahomes, Lamar, and Allen will eventually be Hall of Famers. Mahomes is already one. He could retire tomorrow. Lamar and Josh Allen got to play a little bit more, but they will be Hall of Famers. Yes.
Every single multi-time. So they're all quarterbacks, the multiple-time MVPs except for one. That's Jim Brown, who won it 3 times. Every single player who's won multiple MVPs in NFL history is an active Hall of Famer, or none of us disagree will immediately become one. like Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady. We'll just instantly be Hall of Famers. Look, the biggest question might have been Kurt Warner because of his limited time as a starter.
Random question.
As in limited compared to the rest.
Yeah.
Random question today brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. You see the best in KC. Remember, visit kcurology.com today. For you, Gold, you, Drew. Text line 913-586-7965 or YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. You can live stream the show 4 hours every single day. See our faces over on the YouTube stream. Like and subscribe. Get to the top of your feed. Question I actually have today is a sports-related question. Not going completely off the wall with you guys today. Very simple sports-related question. Gardner Minshew comes in that game. Is it okay to turn the Chiefs game off right then? Because I'll be honest, I didn't want to watch it anymore. I was done. The game was now boring. Patrick Mahomes had already dominated. Backups are in. I was no longer interested in what that football game had to offer.
What'd you turn it to?
I was more interested in watching Red Zone or the close finishes of other games. There are other things. I didn't want to watch the Chiefs game anymore. Seemed dull now because they'd already kicked their ass and there was other good football on. Is it okay as any fan? Are fans allowed to turn off the game at that point? Is it fair or foul to just flip it off? I put it on dual screen because I felt like I wasn't allowed to turn it off. So I put it on split screen.
You're obligated.
Yeah, look, you're allowed
split screen, no audio in the second half of the fourth quarter. We just rode that thing out. But nothing interesting was happening in the game anymore.
Yeah, you're obviously allowed to do whatever you want. I would say Red Zone on the multi-screen, totally acceptable in that spot. Now, I wouldn't have turned the game off altogether. You got to still have the game visible. And also, especially when for weeks we've had conversations and you've said, I just want a game where I can just sit back and relax and not. And then they finally give you one and you turn the channel.
Well, in fairness, not till the fourth quarter. They had me till then.
You got to at least have the TV on. Like, if you had multiple TVs.
When I saw Gardner Minshew, I'm like, I'm out. I don't have 2 TVs.
Okay.
I just have the one. So I'll do multi-view sometimes in YouTube TV.
There you go.
So I did that. I went off the antenna, which is how I watch the Chiefs games.
Yeah.
And I went to multi-screen. Because I decided, I was like, I don't know.
It's been way too long since Chiefs dominated somebody.
Is that it?
Yeah.
If this was every week, would it be more excusable to just be like,
I think so.
Once Minshew's in, it's like, what am I watching for?
Yeah.
I don't care if Justice Hill runs for 70, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh no.
No, the game was over, but I think it's been a while. You know, enjoy the vibes around that whole
Someone
thing.
says a true fan watches the whole thing. I mean, really?
Someone says they took a nap. Someone says they fell asleep after the Tyquan Thornton touchdown. Someone else asked about Bad Bunny. We will talk about Bad Bunny again in the 1 o'clock hour, I promise.
From 816, I totally agree. Cody, I wanted to watch the Raiders lose. Some of the other games were close, and I was like, oh, man. I was like, well, I know CBS isn't going to switch off of this Bears-Raiders game because it's local. They would have switched off. By the way, that's the true test of when I think you can turn it off. If this was a non-local game, would CBS have switched off the game? The second Gardner Minshew was in. We're going to take away just for a quick second. We're going to take you out to Bears-Raiders where we got a close one. They would have switched away.
Yeah.
CBS would have switched the damn game. So I think I'm okay.
Yeah, if you're a Chiefs fan, I think you have the game still visible some way, somehow, or you're listening on the radio still. One of the two.
Does it count if a lot of Chiefs fans went to the NASCAR race instead of watching the game entirely?
You were there.
I was there.
I will say, Drew.
And if the Bengals were playing,
I
would
would
also
DVR the game if I were you. I would have. I'm surprised you didn't DVR to catch the entire Chiefs-Ravens game. I would have definitely done that Because look,
you got to go. That's
family
a
stuff
great
comes up.
spot
Sometimes
for
I have to
Red Zone,
go other places. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good spot for Red Zone or the multi-view late in that game.
I mean, you weren't.
I had on my computer in the press box, I had Red Zone open as well, so I could glance over. So I mean,
the whole time or just
no. Okay. Late in the game, same thing.
So even you were like,
late in the game, I had Red Zone on the laptop at that point.
I think I went to the best event in Kansas City yesterday.
No, you didn't.
Bar none.
Chiefs just had their most impressive win.
In terms of entertaining Cody got bored. Cody got bored during the game.
Bored until the very end.
You got bored.
Drew, here's the thing, though.
During the game.
Drew, but here's the problem.
You got bored.
I can just tell you right now, I'd be real bored at a NASCAR race.
You missed out on a hell of a finish.
I can't even see the whole thing.
I'm sure it was a ton of fun. I know that's your thing, so I'm honestly not trying to hate.
It was a really good crowd. There were a lot of people, a lot of Chiefs fans out there.
I will once again say, though, this is the only issue I have with it. Much like the atmosphere comment from a few weeks ago, you cannot say you were at the best sporting event in Kansas City.
Hey, Textline agrees with me.
Yet again,
having never been.
You still have not gone to Arrowhead.
You
cannot compare.
That doesn't matter. I said the game stunk. I went to the best event in the city yesterday in terms of entertaining, full on for the entire time. Was the NASCAR race yesterday, hands down.
Okay.
That game was over, and in the middle of the third quarter, as soon as Lamar Jackson went out, there was no need for anybody. You already knew how that game was going.
And not until mid-third quarter was it dead to rights dead.
All right.
Not until, because it was 20-10 at half. So, I mean, they were up, and I definitely
What
felt
about
like they
the
were
first
win.
hour and a half of the race, though?
Oh, I mean, I think it was great.
Isn't that the same as the end, though? They're just driving in a circle and nothing really matters?
No, because the end of the race, obviously, things ramp up even more. The same as a team can.
Yeah,
things ramp up in the second half of a game that's close. Things ramp up in the. Sorry,
I'm trying not to. Drew and I we already had a disagreement earlier. I'm trying to hold back on this one. We already had a disagreement once this hour.
And again, if people enjoy NASCAR, it's fine. I know I wouldn't likely enjoy it. I've seen races.
The best moment of the day yesterday was in the city was the end of the NASCAR race compared to.
I feel like they're always close to the end of the Kansas Speedway.
The thing went.
I feel like we've run into this. Didn't they win by an eyelash 2 years ago? Kansas Speedway is always a close race.
Correct. I know, which is why they need to bring the championship here. It doesn't matter if I've been to Arrowhead or not. I'd skip out on a Bengals game to go to the NASCAR race, please. I did that. I do that every year, except for the Bengals. The Bengals play tonight, so that was a little bit different.
Yep, they do. Yep.
What a awful Monday night lineup.
Yeah, the Monday night lineup is rough.
Jets,
two
Dolphins.
0-3 teams, and then a backup quarterback versus Bo Nix.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're curious, my random question is it okay to not watch Monday Night Football tonight? The answer is yes.
You're going to be skipping out entirely?
Maybe.
I'll watch.
They better make something. It's one of those if the game is interesting at halftime, they can bring me in. If I see 6-3 Jets at halftime, no, pass. If I see 7-4, somehow they got back-to-back safeties against the Broncos, pass. Whatever,
people don't understand. This is no shade at Arrowhead. This is the game was I didn't miss out on much. I checked the game at the end. I was like, dang, the Chiefs won that much.
Have had in 2 years, I would argue.
Up next,
from an individual.
Let's talk about an elite defense that once again exists in Kansas City and how Sunday Night Football ended and the new renewed conversation around ties in the NFL.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
At Lowe's, save on job site supplies with MyLowe's Pro Rewards. Eligible members enjoy volume discounts on qualifying orders through a quote of $2,000 or more. Offer can't be combined with any other discount, contract, and/or special pricing. Exclusions, more terms, and restrictions apply. Details at lowes.com/terms, subject to change.
Chiefs Checking for Community America is for real fans. Because real fans know Tap to Pay is the ultimate play. Zero fees mean you win with ease. And big savings at the team store means you can score more. And who doesn't love scoring more? Community America is invested in helping Chiefs fans step up their financial game. Get started today at CommunityAmerica.com. Member owned, open to all. Community America Credit Union, invested in you.
After 40 years and more than 8,000 five-star reviews, Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter is your go-to company for home service needs. Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That is GiveMeTheVin.com. We love to buy cars. People don't trust car buyers. People think the price is going to be wrong, and people think it's going to be a hassle. Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That is what we do at GiveMeTheVin.com, and that's what makes us America's best car buyer. Go to GiveMeTheVin.com right now and get a quote on yours.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
What matters to you matters to us. That's why Busey Bank takes the time to understand your goals and build solutions that fit your story. From everyday banking to long-term planning, our team is here to help you navigate every stage with care and expertise. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbor, your advisor, and your advocate. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
This is Creed Humphrey. Kansas City has the best fans in the world and the best bull riding team in the PBR. The Outlaws are looking to win it all this year, but they can't do it without you. I'm the chief of Outlaw Attitude, and I need you to pack the house. So buckle up and make some noise. The Outlaws are coming, and we know KC will be there with us. Come see Kansas City's next dynasty and join me at PBR Team Outlaw Days, October 3rd through 5th.
Straight Talk presents The Math of More. Here's how it works. When you say yes to more with Straight Talk, you're left with more for all the other good stuff. So getting an unlimited plan starting at just $25 a month equals more savings for your family's weekend adventures. And with a network covered by Verizon, you can share more from wherever you go. It's simple math, really. More equals more with Straight Talk. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. The $25 plan requires a compatible unlocked device and a new line of service. Additional terms apply.
When your name's on the paint job, your primer better hold up. Painters trust Kills primers for serious adhesion, stain blocking, and a finish that lasts. Now, the full Kills lineup is available exclusively at the Home Depot. Need it fast? Get same day or next day delivery, or order online and pick it up in store. Kills primers, pro results, faster. The Home Depot. If you're a pro, you know.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
Wildcat fans, this is Wyatt Thompson. Tune in all season long to the play-by-play of the 2025 football season, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Bring Rashard Smith in motion to the left side car position. Mahomes feet staggered, takes the snap between the 1 and the 5, down the rail to the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City. Tyquan Thornton learning how to be a red zone receiver. A third touchdown pass by Mahomes, the 251st in his career, a gain of 11.
Mitch Holthus on the call yesterday right here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for the Chiefs. It was nice to see Tyquan actually, as Mitch mentioned there, a red zone touchdown. We know he can be a deep threat. We really didn't see that yesterday in terms of like executing.
He only had one
it.
catch, the one you just heard.
His snaps were down. Worthy was back, so snaps were down. But the fact that he got a touch on the red zone actually is a good sign. It shows like could he be more than just the deep threat guy? So I actually liked seeing that from Tyquan Thornton yesterday. But I want to talk about the defense to start the hour. Then we'll get back into some other elements of the game. Also, we will talk about the halftime performer for the Super Bowl being announced, Bad Bunny. Some people either love it or, like most things, a bunch of people hate it. You know, nobody's going to be pleased with the halftime performance announcement, but we'll talk a little Bad Bunny here in just a little bit.
An artist you are familiar with, but I'm assuming don't listen to regularly?
Correct. And also, again, we talked to Isaiah Pacheco about Bad Bunny during training camp. So I know Pacheco's excited about this announcement.
The Puerto Rican connection.
That's right. That's what he said. Yeah. So we'll get into that in just a bit. But the defense for Kansas City showed once again that they're going to be elite this season. And that's a word that we've turned into like a joke now in sports. Like, is he elite or not? Are they elite or not? But surely this defense, I'm not saying they're going to be the best defense in football. That's not at all. Not with the lack of pass rush consistently from the front four. That's not going to happen. But when you have the best defensive coordinator, period, and one of the best ever, in fact, maybe the best, in Steve Spagnolo, you're going to continue to improve as the season goes on. And here we are heading into week 5 now, and look like a completely different defense than they were in week 1. I don't know what the hell that was against the Chargers in week 1. No communication, guys in wrong spots, no confidence.
If we look back at that, what happened
crazy. There? Now for the last 8+ quarters, they've been dominant.
Quarters, right?
Yeah, I guess 12 now, yes. Right. They've been dominant. Flat out dominant, forcing turnovers, getting after the quarterback. You got Leo Chanel in coverage, making plays like he's a wide receiver out there. Spags adjusts better than anybody in football. First drive, the Ravens march right down the field. Immediately after that, they make adjustments, and the rest of the day, the Ravens really didn't do anything on offense. They made Lamar very flustered, as we discussed last hour. This defense is going to be elite, and that's why we're waiting for the offense to get going, and maybe it is here now. They're going to be in every single game, as we've said.
I'm only a better pass rusher away from saying it's the best defense in football. Like, that's it. That's the only thing that's holding me back from saying that. Because, again, it's not that they haven't faced good offenses. They have faced some good offenses, including the number 1 offense in the NFL coming into the game, the Baltimore Ravens, who were averaging 37 points a game. Still the 3rd best offense in the NFL for what it's worth. And so that's one of the better units in the league. They're only, like, gosh, if you could just erase that Chargers game and, like, forgot what they did defensively, I think people would be arguing that they're the best defense in football. Because that one, it still throws you off a little bit. Like, what happened there exactly? But look at the teams they've still faced. Chargers, that's going to be a playoff team, right? We all agree? Eagles, one of only 2 undefeated teams left in all of the NFL. The Giants, who they really whipped, and then the Ravens, who they beat even worse. And again, was the number 1 offense coming into the game. If they had one other pass rusher I really liked, best defense in football, which means I think they're a top 5 defense.
They're elite
as of right now, because there's very few teams, I would say, doing a better job than them consistently. All the other top defense in the league right now, I think, have had a soft schedule. Houston, Seattle, Jacksonville, Arizona. Look at their opponents. Look at the teams that they faced points per game wise. They're just facing a bunch of nonsense in their own division, or a bunch of nonsense in the NFC, or backup quarterbacks because like 8 of them started last week. Like, they have had an easier road defensively than the other ones. The Chargers and a couple of these other ones are the only ones you would argue are consistently playing better. And Denver's falling quite a bit back from where they were. And we'll see what they do tonight against Jake Browning, a backup quarterback. But the Chiefs have been definitively are one of the better defenses. What I've decided is this is a tough one because we talked about the Nagy stuff earlier. I think they're probably like the 8th or 9th most talented defense in the NFL. I don't think they're talentless. I think we always blow that out of proportion. But I mean, how do I get them from there to third? It's just Spags, right?
No, he's the best.
It's just him and his ability to confuse people and make teams look bad.
Right. I mean, the defense, I think it was, I mentioned earlier, in the locker room, some players were speaking, and we were talking to Chanel, and then I think Sam McDowell from the Star was over talking to Nick Bolton, and that's the piece that I think Sam put out today was about Spags basically called a specific type of a play that they hadn't run in like 7
years,
or 8 years. 7 years. I mean,
which is crazy.
That's the genius, though, right?
Nick Bolton wasn't on the team the last time they ran it.
That's the genius of Spags, though, right? If you're the Ravens, if you're Lamar, you're not expecting that.
Delayed blitz,
you catch him off guard. You don't know where the blitz is coming from. It's going to be different every single week. Snap, drive to drive. You also now have a healthy Jalen Watson playing legitimate number 2 corner defense for you. Noel Williams, the rookie, keeps getting better every single week. There's some really impressive numbers with him. We maybe talk more in the week. That now, as more and more reps are coming in, it doesn't look like it's just one good rep. There's a lot of good stuff out there now.
Reminds me a lot of the way
Noel Williams.
Steve played
Very physical corner. So all of a sudden, and maybe one day Christian Fulton does play for this team, but now all of a sudden you feel like, are they deep? All of a sudden you're like, do they have some depth actually at corner? Because injuries are going to happen. Somebody in the secondary will get hurt at some point. That's just reality of the
corner
NFL.
Or safety
so,
or something.
Hopefully Christian Fulton gets healthy so you can cover for if there is an eventual injury there. But they're defensively, they are playing at the level that you've seen Spags get them to sometimes later in the year, and they're doing it by week 5.
I got to say, part of it is he feels like he's in his bag, and it might just be because, and this is where Brett Veach can deserve some credit here, they're very versatile. So Leo Chenal this year has played linebacker. He's playing corner essentially yesterday, and then they've put him in the edge at times in pass rush situations so that they can move Chris Jones around and do other stuff. So he's been versatile. They've had Shamari Connor play corner and safety, so he's been versatile. They just feel like they've moved guys around really well, and they've played corners inside and outside and moved them around a lot, and that goes back to McDuffie. They just seem like they can move the pieces around. Like Nick Bolton yesterday, he's a linebacker. He's not, let's be clear, he's not a 3-4 off-ball linebacker that blitzes the quarterback. Do you know how many times he blitzed yesterday? He went after the quarterback 10 times, Gold. Nick Bolton blitzed 10 times and got pressure on 5 of them. I'm like, wait, what? What's Nick Bolton blitzing 10 times for? The versatility. They didn't think that they would plan on Nick Bolton continuously coming after them as a free blitzer up the middle, a free blitzer on the outside. And by the time he got to him multiple times, he was a big part of the disruptive pass rush that eventually did get to him. That stands out. That's Spags. To me, that's Spags. Not Nick Bolton is an elite level pass rusher.
Players have to execute and deserves credit, but I get what you're saying. I mean, that's been the whole thing with his defense for years, though. There's obviously some very, very talented aspects of, a future Hall of Famer in Chris Jones, and Trent McDuffie's one of the best corners in football. We've talked about Karlaftis and where he's at as a player, and he got off to a slow start. He's been way better the last 2 weeks defensively in general. You're starting to see him consistently get pressure again on the quarterback. But yeah, Steve Spagnolo is the best. He really is simply the best. There's nobody better in the business.
Pay him whatever he wants. Yep. Hope no team ever decides to go defensive coordinator in there. How old is Spags?
We've had this I just don't think that, unfortunately for him, I just don't think the head coaching gig's ever happening again. And selfishly,
I don't think it is either, but every time this defense does another thing, I can't rule it out. 65.
I just don't think teams will do that. And it's unfortunate for him because I do know he wants to. We've had him on the show. You would love that opportunity, but he's going to go down as the best defensive coordinator in football.
Is he getting bored? Having top defenses in Kansas City all the time, winning rings?
Going to Super Bowls.
No, you don't think so? Not getting bored, just being awesome at his job every single second. The defense does deserve credit. They're also healthy on defense. I think it's worth noting that while Fulton has missed some time and Dan has missed some time, their key players are all there. Karlaftis, Chris Jones, the cornerbacks, the safeties. Like they've got a pretty complete unit at the moment. And I think something we'll talk about later in the week that also stands out from this game is we started to see a shift away from Charles Omenihu and a shift towards one of the rookie defensive ends. Will that continue? So like they have changed, genuinely. This is what's been most impressive. In 4 games, I'm not sure that they've had a single defensive game plan that looked the same. they have attacked all 4 teams in a different way this week, and how they attacked Lamar is not how they attacked Russ last week. And so it's just looked different. I thought they did that 2 high safety thing that they weren't doing and didn't do in this game. That's, again, going back to Spags. Meanwhile, was it during the Chiefs game? Right around that time during the Chiefs game.
Sunday Night Football, wasn't it?
Sunday Night Football, that's right. It was announced. Bad Bunny as the Super Bowl halftime show. I will say, a good chunk of you, so I don't think you're all just collectively saying it just to say it. A good chunk of you on the text line, on Twitch and YouTube, said you were not familiar with Bad Bunny until they had announced it yesterday. And I was trying to decide what to make of that. Because I'm not saying everybody in the Kansas City market listens to Latin trap music.
Yeah.
Fair, right? But I will say he is one of the most streamed artists on the planet. And what I think this says more than anything else is that the NFL cares and will continue to care about an international audience. This is the same conversation we just had, Gold. We were talking about international Super Bowls or streaming Super Bowls or anything else in between. They're choosing Bad Bunny because they care more about getting people outside the United States than they do right in. Because they already got you.
Yeah, they got the market. They got the market in the U.S. So, anytime a halftime performer gets announced for Super Bowl, there's always a good chunk of people that are upset about it. Go back. Whatever. There's no perfect performer that's going to appease everybody. I think there's some understanding. Like, look, if you're just not a fan, then you're not a fan, right? Like, nobody has to be a fan of anybody. There's some people that for years have been wanting a country artist. The NFL has not done that, so that's why some people are upset. There's some people, I don't think it's a valid for some. They're like, hey, I'm not going to understand anything. It's not the halftime performer. But they've had Latin halftime artists before. Now, not fully non-English. Shakira and J-Lo. That was a great show, by the way. Great show. In Miami.
Of the in-person halftime shows I've seen,
that was the best one. It was in Miami. Everything was perfect. I would say Rihanna, the whole setup was cool.
It probably looked cooler on TV.
And then
Our angle was tough.
Who was was it Usher?
Usher was really good too.
That was,
That hits a certain nostalgia point for me. I would probably rank them J-Lo, Shakira, Usher of the ones I've seen.
I've told you, though, with the halftime, so this is just me personally, not selfishly in Kansas City, because the Chiefs have been in so many Super Bowls. Usually, if the Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, especially if we're not at the Super Bowl like last year, at halftime, you're either ticked off because your team's getting blown out like happened last year, or you're so nervous and stressed out that I really don't care what's happening at the halftime show. I get back to football, please. Let's go. The Chiefs are about to win a Super Bowl.
That's probably a recent issue, though. You probably spent the first 25 years of your life just been a cool halftime show.
Absolutely.
And what happens? Look, I think it'll be fun because he essentially just makes party music. Bad Bunny just makes good time, fun party music. I don't know why that wouldn't be fun at a Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah, if you're having a good time watching the Super Bowl.
I guess here's the question I'll have for it. 913-586-7965. I am curious what the text line will generally say for our audience, who you would like to see in a Super Bowl halftime show. Because what I had seen is, so earlier the text line, because Drew came back with Metallica. I don't want that at all.
No.
I don't want any, and look, I listened to a lot of Metallica growing up in AC/DC and all. I don't want 80s rock music. And I don't think that
Cody
makes
wants some K-pop group. The ones you told me about a week ago. That's what Cody wants.
Oh man, my kids made me. We painted jack-o'-lanterns to look like characters.
I saw something for that, by the way, over the weekend on social media.
You saw something from K-pop Demon Hunters?
Yeah, that it was. It grew. There were numbers that came out, and it was still
it's massively
ridiculously popular.
Yeah, it's very, very, very popular. Although my kids moved off of that being their Halloween costume, so who knows? I am curious who you want in a Super Bowl halftime show, because I don't want any 70s, 80s rock music. I don't think that really works well in a Super Bowl halftime show. Country's not a genre I listen to much of, and I don't think has broad appeal. This is why pop works.
Someone says they would like English songs. That's their only issue.
Where is the Super Bowl at this year?
Santa Clara.
I think location. I think paying homage to where you're at, I think, is something that would be very cool.
If they made it regional,
like they did in
I would
LA.
listen to that. Yes, but that's very rare.
That.
Yeah, because who was it who was
it's
really
the Super Bowl, though. They're international.
It's
not a regional sport.
Lil Wayne?
I get it.
People are mad Lil Wayne didn't do.
Yeah.
Lil Wayne wanted to do it. The NFL didn't ask.
Well, because Jay-Z's in charge of the NFL entertainment stuff, too. He's that's basically who they're using to book a lot of this stuff now. And he's
it was up to Jay-Z. He
somebody mentioned Foo Fighters.
That's his guy.
Morgan Wallen. Then there's a bunch of jokes.
Taylor Swift is the obvious one that people were speculating about for a while.
I just think pop or pop rock works the best. And here's the thing. If I ask you this, you could tell me your favorite artist who currently plays at small clubs. And you better be suggesting an artist almost that is in the top
global
50 worldwide.
Well, see,
Because
that
is
the
good.
thing.
But they're
That
not picking local. Like someone said, Tech Nine. Love Tech Nine, right? KC legend, awesome dude. All that's true. He's not performing at the Super Bowl.
And if he's offered, he should take that check
well,
immediately.
Well,
Are you
yeah,
kidding
it'd
me?
be great for him.
Are
But
you
he's not. He's
serious?
not a.
There is
He's
no
not
check. Remember, you just got to pay it out of pocket.
He's not a Super Bowl
That's
halftime
right. Yeah,
performer,
forget
right?
that
Like
too.
that's just. We Cody was it a week or two?
Someone said, "Good day, Tony."
So good.
That'd be
good text.
sick.
Someone said Jelly Roll. Actually, I would
If it's a
personally
country
enjoy
Does he have
that.
enough broad appeal?
Yes, but
Worldwide, does he? I don't know.
Cody, there is never.
In the US he does.
I don't think country ever would work unless it's a group of people. They would have to do more than just
Okay, so
one.
have like the-
it wouldn't just be Jelly Roll. It would be Morgan Wallen, him,
Like a country bonanza?
That'd be awesome.
Miranda Lambert, somebody like there'd have to be a mix of people thrown in there. It couldn't just be one person.
If any of you are the people over here suggesting the CGI versions, those are the worst. They make me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, the worst one.
What
of
about
all,
like a Cirque du Soleil? What about that kind of halftime show?
they're
People
asking
doing
me-
flips and stuff.
But that
Just
can
play
be
some music. I
That
don't
can be
care.
the background. There needs
Yeah.
to be that.
I think someone said Post Malone. That might be the bit.
He has worked with every major artist on the planet.
He legitimately might be as popular of a person as Taylor Swift because he appeases to every single genre. It's incredible.
Pop. He's got some
Country,
country,
rock music, rap music.
Mhm.
It's everything.
Yeah, he'd have enough variety. He'd probably be a pretty good
Oh,
choice.
yeah.
I will say, someone suggested this earlier too. 816 Weird Al Yankovic. I would genuinely love to see it because it would be beyond fascinating to me and the most American thing it would feel like almost ever in a way. That Weird
What song
Al
did he do?
What song? His
there's-
catalog runs deep.
There's
Drew.
one in particular that I
like a classic one or a more recent one.
classic one.
I don't know.
Like when I was in elementary
Eat
school.
It or
Eat It was another. Yeah, that. I think
mean, there's
that
a
was,
million,
That,
dude.
that might have been it.
there's a
There was one in particular I remember.
I'm just there's lots of choices at least.
People don't even want there to be artists. They want like acts, like the Disc Dogs or the Blue Man. The Blue Man Group is an artist, I guess.
We're getting
too,
Red
technically,
Panda.
but-
Like
Yeah.
yes.
How's she doing,
Maybe
by
like
the
Red
way?
Panda
She
doing
fell.
that.
She fell at the NBA playoff game.
I think
or
she.
whatever it was.
What was
right?
it?
That's right.
I don't even remember what she hurt. Was it
Her wrist or something, right? And I'm serious. I think. I think she fell and I don't know if she broke her
Serious
wrist or whatever.
wrist fracture.
Yeah.
July.
Yeah.
In a playoff
and
game,
a
right?
WNBA
From as high up
Commissioner's
as she
Cup
is, I
game.
bet.
What's that?
Underwent surgery and is recuperating, making good progress.
White and nerdy from Weird
Even
Al. That
returning
also
to
is a
practice.
good one.
So she's doing better.
Returning to practice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what, you think that just happens on accident?
By now,
You
she's done
gotta
it for 40 years. You know.
Oh man, you got to get better.
She's like, yeah. Anyway, so halftime, Bad Bunny, one of the most popular people on earth, going to be performing at the halftime show in Santa Clara. That
Someone
news
said
last night.
Blue Man Group. Amish Paradise might be another one, Drew. Weird Al's got a lot of. I mean, and he's had popular ones here recently too. But
Bad Bunny's good too. Like you don't even have to know who he is, but like the vibe that he gives off, like what you were saying earlier, like the vibe is great. You know, it makes you want to get up and dance or something like that.
yeah, and again, it's not even like one of those artists. Like I've listened to Bad Bunny, and I've tried to like get into it as like an artist I want to listen to regularly, but it doesn't. I don't know. It's like fine.
Someone said they should have a UFC title fight during halftime. By the way, that would be epic.
3 2-minute
That would
rounds.
be wild.
That would be epic. Join up with the UFC would love that
But I want,
audience.
but it's got to be even. It
the
can't just be a-
NFL's like, why are we helping the UFC?
But it can't be a regular fight. I need it to be like Gladiator. There's like tigers on chains at the end. You better stay in the ring, otherwise you're in trouble. Well, I just want a regular UFC. It's not a regular J-Lo performance, man. They put on a show. They add extra. I am every year blown away at the level of put together and tear down that they do.
The stage is like 25 pieces, and the time lapse from it, is amazing how quickly they get it on the field and off. We've seen it in person a few times. It's kind of absurd.
Who's the most famous San Francisco artists?
E40 is probably up there.
I'm just curious. Like if they wanted to make it
E40
regional,
would actually be incredible. That would be great.
I could be talked into it, but I just
Journey?
I just don't think they're ever going to do that.
Journey, I think.
They still
Grateful Dead.
performing?
Carlos Santana.
Boy,
Are they all from San Francisco? Is that true? This is a quick Google search, so do not quote me on this.
I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. I'm just looking at a.
These are bands from. Huh. Okay.
I'm sure it is. I don't know. I'm looking at a Wikipedia list for E40. Obviously, is on there. I'm trying to look for one that's big enough to actually do it. Like they have that 4 non-blondes get out there and do the halftime show. Because that's always the problem. You have to. It can't just be that. It has to be, and it could be California, Drew. We could keep it loose in the geography.
MC Hammer's also from San Francisco. Can't touch this. That would be.
I don't need it. Like
I think a lot of people would like that. But
so,
yeah.
Just do tributes to San Francisco bands, even if they're not together anymore. You know?
Yeah, you might be able to get away with that. Go see Train, like your first concert. They're from San Francisco, Gold.
Train?
Yeah. Didn't you say that was your first ever concert?
It was, yeah. I saw they did some of the Savannah Bananas this past weekend or a week ago in Seattle. They had one of the lead singers from Train come out and sing with the Savannah Bananas.
At a game in San Francisco?
Seattle, I believe it was.
Seattle. So they were just taking the coast thing?
Mm-hmm.
That's a weird... Where was the Train concert you went to?
Boise, Idaho.
Wait, so you
I wasn't a concert kid.
But that's not
I know.
I don't know. That just seems like insane to me.
I told you this.
I went to a concert until you were a full adult living out of town.
Yeah, I went to sporting events as a kid. That's what I did. That was my thing.
I'm not saying like obviously I'd been to both.
I went to sporting events. That was what I wanted to do, and so I wasn't a concert person.
Man, Train out at the railroad track or whatever. They weren't playing big venues by then, I don't think.
Where was the railroad track?
Where was Train playing in Boise?
The Ford Idaho Center.
How big of a venue are we talking?
I don't know. Probably like 12.
Okay.
I don't know the exact capacity. Don't quote me on that.
Someone's like, Cody, you're up. Go sing.
Nobody wants that in the Super Bowl halftime show. Could you imagine if they made you? Like, it was just like forced? You're like, Cody, you have to do like, I don't want to do this.
Well, you get a bunch of Instagram followers and Twitter followers. It'd be great.
Death threats probably by the time I ruined a Super Bowl halftime show.
But you also, I think the caveat to it also, you couldn't karaoke popular songs. You'd have to do like Pasquantino. Like you would have to perform your songs.
Originals?
Yes. Yes.
No thanks. I don't want that kind of pressure.
And then at the very end, you drop the mic and you say, "Go catch my album on Spotify or something like that."
I don't have an album on Spotify.
You'd have one heading into that.
We would have to. We'd have to find a way to put it together.
Heading into that, you would.
Did they give me professional choreographers? So at least you know.
Yes. I think
they'd all be good.
Like how he had Serena Williams when I do Pasquantino. Can Vinny be there? Can I have like the people
who are Vinny Poop walking on the?
I don't know. I want him there. Otherwise, it makes no sense.
Careful, Vinny.
This would be the most. This would be the most specific halftime show. 99.999% of the entire audience would be like, "What the hell's going on?" And then just the listeners of this show would be like, "This is a train wreck."
But if it's a good vibe, I think people can get with it. You know.
I think that might be good enough.
All right. Up next. We'll get to what's trending. We'll talk more about the Chiefs' backfield and the Chargers chargering.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Trey Smith. You're listening to Cody and Gold weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
FanDuel is getting you ready for kickoff with an offer you won't want to miss. New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. You pick a bet $5, and if it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. You can build parlays, player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. The NFL season is finally here. The only question is, are you ready to play? Visit FanDuel.com/Alex to download the FanDuel app today and get started. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
What matters to you matters to us. That's why Busey Bank takes the time to understand your goals and build solutions that fit your story. From everyday banking to long-term planning, our team is here to help you navigate every stage with care and expertise. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbor, your advisor, and your advocate. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Danon Hughes here. I've seen a lot of stat lines in my playing days, but these numbers, they caught my attention. Flight by Yingling, 2.6 carbs, 95 calories, and all the crisp, refreshing flavor you want in a light beer. It's brewed by the oldest brewery in America, so you know it's got some serious history behind it. If you're into stats and taste, you're going to love this beer. Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer and the official beer of Bain & Hughes. DG Yingling & Son, Pottsville, Pennsylvania.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Kansas City Chiefs. Choosing the best doctor for your eyes is one of the most important medical decisions you'll ever make. Whether you're considering blade-free LASIK, all laser cataract surgery, and premium lens implants, or want a world-renowned doctor to help with your glaucoma, macular degeneration, dry eyes, or diabetes, trust my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein. Call Silverstein Eye Centers to make an appointment, 816-358-3600. Experience the best eye care in Kansas City.
Every day, people in pain are taking control of their health and looking beyond traditional medicine. And that's exactly why QC Kinetics is helping so many people right now. If you're dealing with chronic joint pain, listen up. There are real options beyond steroids, surgeries, and meds. At QC Kinetics, patients are getting lasting relief using cutting-edge regenerative treatments that work at the cellular level. We're talking about revitalizing your joints using growth factors from your own body. It's simple. There's no hospital stays, no surgery, and no downtime. So if your knees, back, or shoulders hurt all the time, don't settle. Be smart. Don't let anyone tell you that surgery is your only choice. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation and exercise your freedom to look beyond the same old solutions. Thousands of people across the country are already living better thanks to QC Kinetics. Call 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Saturday appointments available off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone.
It's time to build that dream deck over at All Weather Decks. Schedule a free estimate today at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net. All Weather Decks, the right deck at the right price.
Nationwide is so much more than a great insurance company. They're one of America's largest financial services companies. Like how I'm more than just Peyton Manning. I'm also motivating Manning, and you too can be so much more.
Nationwide Investment Services Corporation, member FINRA, Columbus, Ohio.
Let's go!
You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-210-4471 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-210-4471. That's 800-210-4471. What do you have to lose? Call 800-210-4471. Again, 800-210-4471.
Actual price will depend on product and subscription plan. Featured products are compounded drug products, which the FDA does not approve or verify for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone support. Put it all together and you've got what you need to turn things all the way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments including pills, chews, and more. 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships free and discreetly to your door. Find affordable treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's Country Song.
It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
Number one on what's trending, the MLB regular season is over. The Royals did finish with a winning record. That's back-to-back winning seasons for the first time since 2014 and 2015. Tomorrow, we'll talk some more Royals baseball. JJ Piccolo and Matt Quatrero will have their final end-of-season wrap-up press conferences. Some interesting questions, hopefully, and answers coming from that. So we'll kind of put a bow on the Royals season tomorrow and Wednesday as the Royals will now hopefully look ahead to 2026 and make some changes moving forward. I will say, if you're wondering, this playoff baseball does start tomorrow. Tigers, Guardians will face each other in the wild card round after all this. And the Guardians are the home team because they came all the way back from 15 and a half games back to win the American League Central. Other playoff games tomorrow, Padres and Cubs. The Mets left out of the postseason. Red Sox and Yankees. So you got some good divisional matchups happening.
Absolutely.
Reds and Dodgers, the other playoff games. So 4 playoff games tomorrow.
I really do love playoff baseball, so looking forward to it. Although disappointed, like when you look at the stuff like the Guardians gave up more runs and scored less runs than the Royals, and they're in the playoffs. I'm like, damn. Wish the Royals were playing playoff baseball. Next up on What's Trending, local college football. MU gets a win 42-6 over UMass. K-State winners 34-20 over UCF. And then Kansas dropped a disappointing one at home to Cincinnati. 37-34. Obviously up to a really good start to the year for Kansas and then let go of a really disappointing one. Missouri obviously continues to roll. They're off this week. We'll see whether or not they can get Alabama in a couple of weeks. That's when their season gets real.
KU in close games, late game decision making, landslide pulled. It's been a bugaboo.
Also, get a stop, defense. Can you one time get a stop,
defense
please?
Is atrocious.
Forget the coaching stuff. Get a stop and pick the ball off on the tip ball late and win the game.
Yep, no question. That was a disappointing loss against Cincinnati. Elsewhere on What's Trending, the Ryder Cup. Talk about disappointing. USA lost to Europe in the Ryder Cup 15-13. Got close on Sunday. Otherwise, it was an ass kicking throughout the entire weekend up there at Bethpage Black. Maybe we'll get into this more some other time. Ryder Cup happening, NFL weekends, college football weekends. I think it's a terrible idea. I also think the Rory McIlroy comments about the crowd towards them was very interesting as well. We're just not going to get into it on a Monday. Get into it on a Monday after NFL, but if we have time tomorrow, maybe we can. I thought it was just really interesting how that all played out. I'm sure you saw the Europe celebration videos on the flight and other things. So.
Next up on What's Trending, a couple injuries around the NFL. Marlon Humphrey suffered a sprain. He'll be out a couple of weeks, according to the Ravens. Malik Neighbors did officially tear his ACL. His season is done for the New York Giants, which is really, really terrible news after that as well. So, obviously, the injuries continue in the NFL. They always do. Easily one of the most interesting random sports things that, again, we're not going to talk about after the Chiefs had their best win. I cannot genuinely, Drew, can we cover it in your college football thing tomorrow? I cannot believe Bobby Petrino is the head coach, the current acting head coach of Arkansas.
Yeah, Pittman got fired at Arkansas.
That's how it goes, man.
Think about the visual of a round surrounding his initial time.
Oh, yeah, of course.
There. The fact that he is, again, their current head coach. And then you just started firing people.
As you were talking about Malik Neighbors, it's now official. The Ravens have put, is out for the season. Pro Bowl defensive tackle Nnamdi Madubuike out for the year.
Wow, he's out for the year?
Due to a neck injury. They put him on the IR.
They're in trouble.
Yeah, they're not getting reinforcements back. That's what's trending here on Cody Gold. Don't forget, Mondays, our friends over at 30 Hop, a great lunch spot, also a great dinner spot. 30 Hop, $5.99 classic burgers. It's your new go-to. If you haven't been, you got to check out the Lee Summit or Merriam location. We keep telling you the patios are awesome at both spots. If you're just looking for a nice, relaxing place to hang out for a little bit, take advantage of the happy hour, the $5.99 classic burgers. You stop in for lunch, stay for the happy hour, 30hop.com. Local beer, American Eats, big patio. Before we get into the Chargers and the Giants some more and what that means, the running game for Kansas City, if there's one thing offensively you still really look at and say, hey, what's going on here? It's still the running game because Xavier Worthy was the leading rusher, had a 35-yard run. He finished with 38 yards. Isaiah Pacheco ended up getting a touchdown late, which was maybe a confidence builder for him. He talked about in the locker room how he kind of just needed a reset there, and maybe that propels him moving forward. We shall see. The running game is still going to be a work in progress, and maybe they don't have the horses to get it done. Maybe it's got to be even more of a running back by committee because when Brashard Smith was on the field, some good things happened. The stats don't jump out. It's not like he had 4 catches for 50 yards or 30 yards rush. Like the stats.
But he made some people miss.
Big plays when they needed it. Made some big plays. Broke a tackle from a running back, which we don't really see much these days in Kansas City, unfortunately. I was impressed. There's more juice. When you had Worthy and Smith on the field at the same time, that's some speed out there. It's some younger guys out there when you have an offense that, let's be honest, at times looks a little slow. Not the case yesterday when you had Worthy and Smith out there.
And watching a full NFL slate quickly on running backs, I still have decided that my dream running back in the Kansas City Chiefs offense is Bucky Irving. He's never going to come here, but can they find his exact clone? Because I think he might legitimately be breaking the tackles. He made 7 defenders miss on 1 play, just cutting it back to the opposite side of the field. No, I don't think it's an accident. It was pretty much 60-40 Pacheco Hunt for the first 2 weeks. Then Brashard Smith started coming in, taking to the 10%. And this week it was like 40-30-25. So obviously Smith's getting involved. Here's the biggest issue they have with getting Smith on the field and they put him in on more third downs. I think they're still having an issue with Pacheco's the best pass blocker. I think he's better than Kareem Hunt at it.
Oh, see, I think Kareem Hunt's the best by far.
And so I actually think Pacheco might be as good at it or better than Kareem Hunt is right now. And some of that might just be the athleticism part of it that's starting to change for Kareem Hunt, because I feel like I see Pacheco do a really nice job there. And because Brashard is still the worst at it, he's always going to have a hard time in the field. I feel good that they're giving Brashard Smith more time. The problem is that I want them to expose him to the point to find out if he can handle it, because I want this to be a decision on whether or not you need a running back. And if you run it at the percentage that you continue to run it at, I don't think it's going to tell you the story on whether or not you need a running back if you go 40, 30, 30 the rest of the way. Unless they just decide they can go the most committee running back of all committee running back units in the entire NFL. And who cares about fantasy stats? They don't.
Right.
And you just figure out, and you just figure out in which spot, which guy can take advantage of it, and they're all fresh or whatever else comes in there. Because I still think it looks like there's more upper end potential with Brashard Smith than any of the others.
Oh, well, yeah, we know what the other guys are.
Kareem Hunt feels like he's just filling time. He does no juice. He is just taking snaps to take them.
He led the team in carries yesterday.
Why? Why?
I think he led the team in carries, right?
He did.
Yeah, 13 of them. So I know people want them to trade for a back. We're a month away from that even becoming a potential solution. I think they're going to play this thing out, especially if the offense is just looking good as a whole. They may say, hey, you don't necessarily need that, or at that point it'll be viewed as more of a luxury. I don't know if we get to that point in time. But I do think, Isaiah Pacheco sitting out 2 drives and seeing Brashard Smith do that, maybe that ultimately also ends up being a good thing. This was Pacheco talking to the locker room.
I feel amazing. Good start. Hit the reset button. Could have got in there a little earlier, I felt, but it's all good. Bad plays happen, and that's how you bounce back. You get the next one, and put it on your back.
And then I guess I absolutely, and I'd written it in before that post, you can attribute. We write stuff in there.
Yeah.
Before he'd even made a post-game comment, I said, sure looked like Isaiah Pacheco started playing better once it became obvious in the game that his job was at risk. Because I think there were a lot of people, I think like Carrington included, who'll be on in 20 minutes. I think it said, looks like we're watching Pacheco lose the job in real time. I'm like, I don't think he's losing his job yet. But it was clear that it was threatened. As in, hey, we will play other players if things don't straighten out.
Well, yeah, because he still
and he immediately was better in that game. Right after that drive, he was immediately.
And hopefully it jumpstarted him, because otherwise I will say he just doesn't look the same since the injury. He hasn't. Maybe that touchdown gets him going, and he did. He had a couple nice runs late.
He did
in the game. Was that was it? Also, just the Ravens at that point were down 7 starters and depleted, and everything that goes with that. Maybe so. We'll find out. Coming up against the Jags, who I believe are, based on seeing this past game for them, they're pretty healthy on the defensive side of the ball and stuff. So there'll be none of that. Like, it'll be their starters against your starters kind of thing heading into Monday Night Football.
We never know if coaches are actually telling the truth or not. You have to know that for a fact. But John Harbaugh is doing his media availability right now. He said Lamar Jackson's hamstring injury precluded him from returning to the game, and it didn't matter that the game wasn't close at that point. Quote, there was no way he could have gone back in that game, according to Harbaugh. Schefter is saying his status for Sunday is questionable.
Okay.
So we'll see. But look, again, a coach could say that and it not be the truth. We'll see. I think it would largely depend. I don't think Harbaugh, making stuff up, but he's saying at least from that, it just looked really bad on the broadcast because the play in which he got hurt didn't look like anything. Then he was just sitting on the sideline not getting any medical treatment. So it didn't seem like he was even trying to get back in the game.
That's the thing. And you're right. I mean, Harbaugh's not going to throw under the bus, even if that was the case. So I think he has an injury. I don't think anybody's disputing that. Nobody's saying they're making up the
severity is still up for debate.
If that game, and just be honest, if it was, well, not even that. I mean, if it was 24-21 with 7 minutes to go and it's you got the ball, you're telling me he's not coming back in? Now, Harbaugh says the injury precluded it. Okay. All right.
We'll see. I'll reserve at least a little bit of judgment.
Who do the Ravens have, you said, coming this weekend?
I don't know. They just called him questionable. God, they're going to go 1-5? Let's see how tough their schedule is.
Texans, fortunately for them.
At home.
It's not that hard coming
Texans, Rams, Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns.
Well, they got some easy games in there, but certainly not all layups. I mean, if you don't have Lamar Jackson, the Bears would be more in question. Bears at home at noon game. If Lamar is healthy, feels like a win.
I feel like he'll play on Sunday against the Texans. I feel like that is going to happen.
And then no one's ever going to believe that he couldn't have found some way, I guess, back into. But you know what? That's all just perception. And then we get the other version of football. And Andy talked about this in his press conference too. Andy sounds like he's not pro-tie, but fine with the rules. He's like, we can't have. That's a part that I didn't mention before that really stood out to me. If you didn't watch the Sunday Night Football game last night, obviously it was nuts. Or didn't stay up to the end. It finished 40-40 in a scoregami tie, where both teams didn't really move the ball fast in the overtime period, but got their field goals. In particular, the time management from the Packers at the end was really abysmal. But Andy had pointed out something that I think has to be considered, and college football doesn't take into consideration enough, which is these guys can't play forever. We talk about the health and safety of 14 games, 15 games. We can't just be like unlimited possessions until somebody screws up. 15-minute quarters, unlimited time period. They do it to play football, a very physical sport during that time. An occasional tie, it's one a year probably on average.
Yeah, there's very little overtime games anyway.
I don't care.
My only thing would be they have taken the postseason overtime rules this year and made it the regular season rules. Okay, that was a decision they made. Fine, each team gets the ball. Okay. My only thing is the same scenario that played out for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and I understand that game can't end in a tie, okay? But we all remember against the Niners in Vegas, everybody was freaking out because it looked like the Chiefs were going to run out of time. And we found out, at least Kyle Shanahan found out also after the game, that the clock would not have expired and the game wouldn't have ended. The Chiefs get a finish.
The Chiefs did know that.
The Chiefs did, but they would have got to finish the possession even if the clock hit 0. You would have had untimed downs, basically. Yes. Okay? I'm saying that I would be okay with in the regular season. I know, still the worry, well, then the Packers would have kicked the field goal, would have kept playing. No, I'm saying that.
Score,
I'm saying that. If they didn't score, then the game would have been over. If they kicked the field goal, then it still would have been a tie. I'm just saying, the clock should not have been does that make sense? I'm not saying that
the clock to matter for the final possession.
If the Packers only matched it with the field goal, then no, it's a tie, game over. But I want it to be like what happened in the Super Bowl, which is the clock could have hit 0 on the Packers and it would have been fine. They would have had their 3rd and 4th down to make their decision. They didn't. That's my only tweak for overtime. I don't want it to be college. I don't want the 2-point shootout stuff we see in college. I don't like that at all.
I am perfectly fine with the current overtime. Honestly, I was fine with sudden death. For the regular season, the coin decides your fate.
I know. Just they already changed it to the postseason rules, so just go all the way with it.
Yeah, I understand. But at the same time, it's in the postseason, we don't care if the games go longer, and you do have to decide a winner. And I understand it is a sport in which, some sports accept ties, and that's a part of the sport. And in football, it is, but it's and again, maybe this is why, if they changed it, I wouldn't care either. It's once a year for the last, 15
It is. We talk about it. We do talk about, once a year max.
And it seemed interesting last night because it felt like such a letdown for a game that was 40
That's also it.
to 40.
The offense
if the game was 10-10, you're like, yeah, give me a tie and put me out of my misery. I don't want to watch any more of this football game. And it was partially because the game is entertaining.
That's true.
And I think that's skewing people a little.
I think that's true. This was not Jets and Browns in November, and it's 6-6, and we're like, okay, all right. These teams have 1 win apiece. Let's move on. This was still early in the year. It's Cowboys, Micah Parsons' return. There was plenty of intrigue, and it's Sunday Night Football too, so we're all watching. It wasn't a noon slate with the C crew of broadcasting the game between.
I'll just tell you right now, if it's 30, I'm not staying up to finish Jets Dolphins. Are they the first one or the second?
They're the early one. Jets Dolphins 6:00 or so. Late one's Broncos and Drew's Jake Browning.
Should be rooting for Jake Browning tonight.
Nah.
Get rid of the Broncos now while you can.
Okay, so Chiefs fans,
Get rid
you're
of
right.
the Broncos.
You're right. Chiefs fans should be rooting for it. I got a Hooters
Yeah,
uniform.
we're trying to win the bet against you.
I'll be rooting for the Denver Broncos personally.
We wanting to get that
I got a Hooters uniform
outfit.
on the line. I'm trying to get them back to 500.
Picking yourselves over the team you root for. Oh man,
Chiefs can take care of the Broncos on their own. They don't need my help. They don't like that's. I don't even take the Broncos serious. They are a non-threat to the Chiefs, in my opinion.
Cincinnati, just go ahead and start adding up the L's. That'd be nice.
I will say thank you very much. If the Bengals win tonight, thank you again to the Kansas City Chiefs for helping out the rest of the AFC North. It's very, very useful.
Right now, that's not a very good division.
Since he's not going to win the division, so I don't care.
Is Pittsburgh?
I don't know.
I'll
still
go
think
ahead
the
and
Ravens
clip that in
It's not gonna
case
be
something happens.
That's fine. Cincinnati's not winning the AFC North.
I think you're pretty safe to clip that. Also, he'll already be wearing a Hooters uniform if that happens. You can't embarrass him further with this clip. He's already at max.
Oh no, I've already told you guys. I'm getting the montage set up regarding Chiefs stuff. I got everything.
If you have the montage set, just make sure if you're going to spend all this extra time building a montage just in case, then please allow us to play the montage back to you when it doesn't work in your favor as well.
Well, have you guys been saving anything?
No. I want to play the montage that you thought was going to be good.
Well, I'm not saving that because it's not my job to save it. If you guys want to come back and do something, then you guys can.
I don't operate the computer.
But you guys can go. If you want to find something and build your own little diss track, then go ahead and build it. I'm not building it. I'm not building a diss track against myself. I'm not going to do that.
No, I'm saying you already have the ammunition. I want to play back what you thought would be ammunition against us.
He's saying use it either way.
Yeah.
If you build an entire diss track.
What, to just say that you're right? That's not as
Why
fun.
are you building it the same thing?
No.
It's plenty of fun for me.
I never said no. Hey, hang on a second. I never said the Bengals would win the division. I predicted them not to, by the way. But the fact that you said I want to play it back for you to say that
the bet's not about the division. You said you're building a montage, and I said if the montage you're building, you can't use it for your benefit. I want to still use it.
We're evidently thinking of two different things, though, because if I'm clipping you saying the Bengals won't win the division and then they do win the division, then I'm not saying that I was right because I would have been wrong as well.
Never mind. I'm just saying it was kind of a joke, but also I'm saying you're spending the time to hopefully build to something
a case against
to be able to say, see, you guys were wrong about Cincy. I'm saying you have the montage. It's cool. You can play it if we're wrong. I want you to play it even if we're right. Is what I'm trying to tell you.
He'd like it either way.
That's all.
I'll play back when you guys are in the Hooters uniforms.
Because it works the other way. It works the other way. You're like, yeah, see, we told you.
I'll play it back when you guys are in the Hooters uniforms.
In fairness, anyway, if they make the playoffs, I would save it for that if I were.
Yes.
But also, I don't know. There's no Joe Burrow for. Does he have any chance of coming back this year?
Yeah, he'll be back in the middle of. He can be back in week 15. I think that
if it's a 4-win team, they're not bringing Burrow back.
If they are 7-7, they can absolutely win the division based on how things have looked currently through 4 weeks.
Yeah, I agree. If they already at 7 or 8 wins at that point, and he's healthy enough, they would bring him back. But you would admit, if they're a 4-win team, they're not wasting their time bringing Joe Burrow back.
Oh yeah, I mean, if they only win 2 games the rest of the way, then for sure. I mean, if they win tonight, then all of a sudden,
this is an interesting swing game for them.
Yeah.
Because if they lose tonight, it's a lot like the Chiefs game. If they lose tonight, then they're just done.
They're also directly competing against a team that's probably going to be in the running for a playoff spot. Because going back to last year, even. Like Denver and the Bengals were in that final little running for that last playoff spot. Like this is something that when we look back on it, even though it's week 4 or 5 or whatever it is right now.
The updated Cincinnati win total, by the way, is 6.5.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, that sounds. I'm not surprised by that.
We told you to bet the Chiefs win total after they started on too.
Which you probably should have, because what was it?
I did.
It was 10.5, wasn't it? Or was it 9.5?
Just like I bet it last year.
Somehow at 9.5, it got down to minus 120.
That's nuts.
I bet it right then, right at 9.5. That's the number.
You're probably feeling pretty good.
I mean, it's not. I'm not a genius. It's easy money.
I
literally just free money.
I understand that, but you're still neither here nor there. You're feeling good.
Sure, feel good about it after the 2 wins. Why not? The updated win totals for the other teams, you might be curious. Bills 13.5.
Yeah.
They're 14 or 15 wins written all over them. Eagles only 12.5. I thought maybe there's a kind of a little bit higher. They've been they've had they're 4-0. They've had 2 games with negative passing yardage in the second half. They won both of those games.
Yeah, Hurts did not complete a single pass in the second half
which is crazy. And they won the football game, which is a problem. I don't know. It seems like it's a problem.
Is it?
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. Maybe it's not.
Is it?
I
mean,
Chargers 11.5, a Lions 11.5. Last I saw, the Chiefs are not on the board. Maybe it's just they're still trying to reconfigure the one I'm looking at.
For win total? Interesting.
Is it? Well, that's just one site. This is ESPN's site as of this morning. So they had an article up on it this morning. So they don't have the Chiefs win total up yet. updated win total.
Which team gets their first win tonight?
Jets.
Or do we have another tie? That would be
ridiculous.
two ties in 24 hours would be the most hilarious thing ever, by the way.
I'll take the Miami Dolphins.
I think the Dolphins should win tonight as well. Yeah, I actually thought the Dolphins, remember their last game we saw them, I guess 2 weeks ago was the Bills, and then last week was disappointing. I think, if I have my timeline right on that, and I actually thought they did some good things on offense. So
what's the spread for tonight?